Mama, we made it. What it do, dog? Yeah. And we're back, y'all. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, we have Staten Island's very own John motherfucking Colombo in the building. What it do, baby? East Coast finest, the visionary man behind the lens behind the lens. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? The shooter extraordinaire. Pop! Throw your motherfucking guns in the air. Yeah. What up? Yeah. But on a serious note, John, thank you so much for fucking joining us.
Thank you for asking me to be on, man.
Man, this is about to be a monumental episode. I already feel it. Like, you know those times where you just like feel it? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is one of those beauties that I just know is going to be prolific for anybody and everybody that happens to set ears on this bitch. You feel me? Mm. And John, you have an incredibly special story. And I'm glad that we have you now because I feel like it's one of the most perfect times for us to take a walk through your shoes. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be a very beautiful journey. And I cannot wait for y'all to hear this. You feel me?
Yeah.
So talk to me. Like, I want to know young John Colombo, bro. Like, what was it like? Because we had a phone conversation, and you were telling me, like, on some trill shit, like, you one of the very few out of the island that came out and made a name. You know what I'm saying? And I want to know what it was like growing up for you in the Staten Island area, and how I want to take a walk through how, you know, the upbringing has led to the different formations and transformations in your life.
Definitely. So prior to Staten Island,
okay,
I lived in Brooklyn, right? So I grew up and was born in Brooklyn. I lived there till I was like, I don't know, 12 or some shit. Till it was like,
what part of Brooklyn?
Till I was in too much trouble, like Sheepshead Bay, and till I was getting in trouble, being a fucking mischievous fucking vandal. And
well, you were one of those motherfuckers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, mama. But I definitely, I got my fair share of trouble, and I like to fuck around and break shit and do graffiti and whatever the fuck it was.
Straight up,
it was always something. So, class clown and that whole shit, and school skating by and whatever. Actually, I think I was good in school for a minute until I realized how much fun fucking off was.
Yeah,
and,
I feel you.
That was really good.
What was Brooklyn like at that time, especially as a youth?
So for me, it's funny, man. I haven't even thought about like this type of shit for a long time. It was cool, man. So we lived in a house where, my parents split up when I was like 6. And then we moved down the street to my grandmother's house, which had my grandparents, my great-grandparents, my mom, my 2 uncles, my cousins, and my aunt and uncle, like the other aunt and uncle, like just fucking, there was like 14 people living in this giant-ass house.
Wow.
It was a big crib. It was really dope. And I wish I could walk through those doors right now, too, though.
Really?
Like, really. Like, that's like the core of my youth is in that place.
Have you ever gone back?
I've driven past it a million times, and it's changed quite a bit. You know what I mean? But everything, like, you take a walk on that sidewalk, and the slabs on the concrete are smaller because, you grow up and this shit changes. Things look different. But at the end of the day, I do wish I could walk through those doors and see what that place was like, because really the core memories of my youth take place in that house. But living there, getting in trouble, fucking, at one point, then my mom and my stepdad got together, and we moved out to Staten, which was probably more of a move to get me the fuck out of the troublesome situations I was getting into in Brooklyn. Staten was cool, but I didn't really fucking know anybody, whatever. I have like 0 memories of middle school. Like, really? I think I have 0 memories of it. Like, maybe the time period of like, again, more fucking around and more graffiti and more stupid shit and like that. Yeah. But I really don't. Like, I got invited to like a 20th anniversary of my junior high school And then that blew my fucking mind apart. Where I was like, holy shit! It's been 20 years since I was in 8th grade. 20 fucking years? Are you kidding me?
Wild.
So I just completely aged myself with that. But that was. Maybe it was 15. I don't know. Maybe it was 20. I don't know.
He's like maybe
it was 20. It's 20. It's 20.
I'm about to say maybe it's like 5.
No, it was like a 4-year reunion. But and like all these people are in this thread on Facebook, and I just don't remember anyone.
That's wild.
But they probably don't remember me either. So that's that's nothing
insane.
on that. But like maybe it just wasn't a memorable period of time in my life. I don't fucking know.
Like I go through some periods like in my early youth, like early, and I'm just like. It's like spotty, you know what I'm saying? What was it like in that house?
Little bit of chaos and a lot of love.
Yeah.
Though. Like I was the only kid, like for a minute, like for a long time I was the only kid. I was the only grandkid, like so I definitely got like, showered with affection and fucking all that. But then also, there were periods of time that were just fucking insane. Like my grandmother was going through menopause and wanted to chase me around the fucking house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, God bless her. But there was like points in time where I was fucking afraid of her.
As you should be. As you should be.
But then there were also times, I think I got brought home by the cops one time and she answered the door and I don't think ever told my mother, Mama.
You feel me? The atoning mama, the mama.
Yeah, I was like 9.
Wild, bro.
What
was the foolery you were getting into as a youth? Like what?
Mostly just kind of like breaking into abandoned buildings and, or abandoned houses or maybe not so abandoned houses. And, and just doing stupid shit.
Were you big in graffiti?
No, not at all. But I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I respect that.
I would have thought I was big. I was like, 9, 10, 12, fucking hitting it.
Yeah.
I was nothing.
Like, no, can't do it.
Straight toy.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's tight, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Doing that S that everybody did with the lines.
The Stussy S.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How
was the culture of the East Coast at that time and like its impact on you?
Man, I grew up very Italian.
Okay.
So I'm
very Italian?
Yeah. So I'm 100% Sicilian. And that there's things that are different that I didn't realize until I like grew up and moved away. And like I remember when I went away to college and I was like, it was upstate New York. And I was like, man, everybody, all you guys have an accent. And they were like, no, motherfucker, you have the accent. Like that's how ethnocentric, like growing up in that bubble is. Like you don't realize that like you are the different one.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
you looking at the world like
this not the center of the earth. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
So, where the fuck was I going with that shit?
The culture of like and like your Sicilianness.
Right. So like for me, like I never had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich till I think I was like in my 20s.
That's insane.
Really?
I want to say that. I think I could say that. Maybe my mom will correct me, but I'm pretty fucking sure because my mom used to like fry up chicken cutlets for me in the morning.
Yeah.
When I was going to like elementary school and send me with like a chicken cutlet hero.
That's amazing. That's incredible.
Or there was a deli that was like on my way to school. I remember like walking to school mad young and shit too. I would never, if I had kids right now, I would never let them fucking walk like that distance to school. Or like I remember like walking to go get my mom a pack of cigarettes and shit when I was like 7, crossing streets and shit, big streets. But I remember like I would walk to school and it would be stop at the deli and Linizio would have a sandwich already made for me.
Yeah.
And I would just get the sandwich and
that's fucking
thank Linizio and keep it pushing.
Shout
my
out
mom
to
probably
Linizio,
paid him
bro.
afterwards or whatever. But like that kind of shit, like so that or a boar's head ham.
Oh yeah,
little cheese, little mayo. It's a wrap.
Well, the Italians know how to eat. The Sicilians know how to eat.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, for sure. Like
what's the difference between Sicilian and Italian?
You just from the island of Sicily. You know what I'm saying? So, which is, I never did one of those genealogy things. I would like to do one.
Me too, bro.
I'm probably all the way black. Yeah.
You know what's wild though? If people actually did that, they start to realize, like, bro, like
100%.
a lot of y'all white folks like have a lot of different genetics within you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But the fact that I think my entire lineage traces back to a pretty small fucking island that you can drive from one end to the other in 2 hours.
Damn.
And it's like that's to think that my whole bloodline goes back to this little fucking island. That's off the coast of Italy. It's kind of crazy. It's hard for me to believe, especially because on my mom's side, it's like 5 generations deep in America. Sicilians marrying Sicilians.
Wow.
So like, that's how Brooklyn and that area of Brooklyn, and especially in Staten Island, is like 90% Italian.
Yeah.
It's just Italian and Irish.
Little.
Yeah. Dead in the middle. Little.
So what type of stuff like? Growing up in Brooklyn from like 0 to 12, were you connected to a certain like, whether it was music or art versus just like getting like fucking around, but was there something that you ever felt connected with in terms of that?
I think, from an art perspective, I always had a little affinity for graffiti and street art and that kind of shit, which I kind of fell out of naturally.
Growing
and then,
up, yeah.
Maybe fell back into the street art shit later on.
Yeah.
But music, I think I was always into music, whether it was like, Michael Jackson and fucking, or like even like back in the day, I remember like my favorite shit being like Onyx and fucking, what would the kid, Crisscross? Remember Crisscross?
Yeah,
there's a video of me doing like some kind of crazy dance at a wedding at like, I don't know, like age 6 or 7 or some shit to like Young MC or like one of the, you know what I mean, like that. So I definitely was always into hip hop since day one, for sure. You know what I mean? But I also spread into other shit. Like I loved, like when I reached, I think like maybe 12, 13 years old, I started to get into like the backlogs of shit. So like I started to get into like Jimi Hendrix and the Beatles. And,
the palette starts expanding.
Yeah, exactly. Starting to go back and get into that zone.
What was the family life like with young Johnny getting in trouble all the time? Like, damn well the women in the household put their foot down.
Yeah, I think my mom probably took it easy on me a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she had some guilt or something. I don't know. There was definitely like the strictness came from like the men in my family more than anything, right? So my dad was pretty strict, but I didn't live with my dad. And then my stepfather was pretty strict, and I did live with him.
Got it.
But rightfully so.
Yeah. Absolutely. Did you have a good relationship with Pops and your stepdad also?
Yeah. And I will say this too, like I never saw my parents like dating other people except for the people that they married.
Got it.
And my parents never spoke ill of each other, ever. Like, to me.
That's beautiful.
That's
incredible.
What
I'm saying? Like, never heard anything like that. And my mom and my stepmother are cool, and my dad and my stepdad are cool, and we can have like family barbecues all together. Like,
that's incredible.
That's some shit. And
amazing,
I really
man.
like my friends that like they split with their baby moms and shit like that. And I always, I'm always like, they're like, I hate that fucking bitch, blah blah blah. And I'm like, let that dust settle, give that a year, 2, whatever you need. But at some point, bring that back around.
Absolutely.
I'm a shining testament to that. Like
absolutely.
That's something that you do for your kid.
Yeah.
And for your own well-being. You know what I mean? It's not good to live with hate and animosity and negativity in your shit.
And sometimes, bro, it's just a matter of communication, bro. Like, people grow apart. That's a reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I divorced my parents when I was 16. Like, I sat them down like, look, y'all breaking up, getting back together all these fucking times for me and my well-being. I'm doing well. You guys raised a great son. Now go find your fucking happiness. And both of them are remarried like 9-10 years plus, and we all, just like that, get together on the holidays. Mom and dad are best friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Step parents like fuck with each other. Everybody's like, it's all together because you realize, like, even as parents, like my mom and dad tell me this all the time. They're like, look, we raised you, right? Like, regardless of our fights and disagreements, like, we have a human being on this earth together. And it's crazy to think that, like, these days, that mentality is kind of shifting. Like people are, it's like it's wild. Like when you bring, like, I've always thought of it this way because I saw my parents see the world through this lens. But like when you bring a child into this world with somebody, whether it's you know, it's planned or in this day and age, it's like motherfuckers popping off. But if you bring a human being into this world, you guys have both parents have an onus to raise this child. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean the cats got to be together forever, but every decision that I watched my parents make as a kid and every sacrifice they made was with me in mind. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to think now, like, it's like I love it because there's a very like few friends of mine that are incredible parents and like get that. But then I also see like externally, you got cats just like worrying about their damn selves and they got a kid in this world. It's like, bro.
Yeah. I like to think I raised my parents.
We gotta get your mom on here.
Nice. No, but like they'll tell you like the reason, like both of them said the same thing like my whole life is like, oh, we were too young. That was their whole thing. We were too young. You know, they were like 20 when I was born.
Oh, wow.
So, and my grandmother I think was like 16 when she had my mom. So she was, imagine a 36-year-old grandmother.
Oh wow.
Shit.
I'm 34.
Oh,
a 36-year-old grandmother.
You know what I'm saying? I want to say that 36. Maybe she was 37 times.
Yeah,
So, you know,
that's
like that.
fucking
Unless I have
crazy.
my information wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. My mom will definitely correct me after this.
She'd be like,
if I'm wrong,
she calls my cell phone like, Anoush, look.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to edit that part.
Nah, but I think you know, when my parents were together, they had no money. Like, not like, you know, I remember my parents giving out fucking, like, we had all this weird shit in the house, and I think years later I asked about it because I was like, yeah, why did we have all those flashlights and why did we have all those Pert Plus fucking samples and it was like for like shampoo, and it was because they were like giving out samples at the airport and shit. Like that was like a job or whatever until my dad got a real job. Like he finally got called to go to sanitation and like do the shit and like have like a real fucking job and be able to support. And so like that was definitely right. I like to joke around and they'd be like, you know, fucking, oh man, I was poor when I was a kid and I used to only have a mayonnaise sandwich and my only toy was a button on a string. But like, that's not true. But that's fully not true. I had like 4,000 He-Man figures and Per Plus.
And a gang of Per Plus, yeah. That's great.
The hair was always glistening.
My hair was on fire.
How was the development as you started getting into high school? Like, were you still reckless with it? Like, what was that transition for you?
I've always been like a fucking, you know, a prankster and, you know, this kind of class clown thing. And I was probably like, my sense of humor and maybe all that fuckery or maybe the attention that I got from that was probably, you know, something that I developed maybe as a defense mechanism to, you know, become friends with people and make friends and things of that nature, you know, like reflecting back on it now.
Yeah.
Was it a hard transition going from Brooklyn to Staten Island?
It was a little bit difficult. I definitely remember there being some bullshit, you know what I mean? But I also had bullshit just going from elementary school to middle school, you know, getting fucking jumped in the staircase for a fucking, you know, over some I don't know, maybe a fucking Walkman or some shit. Like, I don't even remember. Like, there was definitely, you know, that was kind of, any of those transitions, I probably blacked them out from my mind. But, you know, I definitely did stunty shit probably to get attention. You know what I'm saying? Like I got in freshman year of high school, I went to an all boys Catholic school, and I was kicked out at the end of the year. Yeah,
didn't last long.
Yeah, so that's a funny story actually. I'll tell you. I definitely never told this one publicly, so this is a good one.
Let's get it.
So my mom and my stepdad got me a computer, you know, like I'm like bitching, like I want a computer. I'm in high school now. I need to work on something, whatever. Yeah. And they got me like a like a compact or something. You know what I mean?
It's just like the white. It's like the off-white.
Yeah. Or like a Dell or a Gateway or some shit. Like one of those.
Gateways were popping.
Gateways were popping.
Gateways, build your own was fucking popping.
So I had one of those. Most certainly the compact, but we'll move on. And I really didn't use it for what I was supposed to be using it for. Like most, it was fucking chat rooms and dicking around and probably looking up porn pictures and shit like that, whatever, you know what I mean? Pictures.
Yeah. The times.
Yeah, the times. The dial-up. And all that shit.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? You'd be like holding the speakers so that when you signed on at night, you know, because it just made so much noise.
That shit was so loud.
Yeah, it was.
And you memorized it. It was like a song.
Yeah. And at the end of the year, I took the yearbook, and I figured out how to scan shit, and I decided it was going to be so funny for me to put somebody's head on a porno picture. So I found this picture of this girl, and she's like riding somebody like reverse cowgirl position, so you see the face, you know?
Yeah.
And her head was like cocked to the side a little bit. So like I'm looking through the yearbook, and like everybody's pretty much dead on.
Yeah.
And then I find this one picture of this dude who has his head tilted, who's a senior, who just graduated, who is the biggest person in the school.
Wow.
And he was like the linebacker on the football team. He was a monster. Like a monster.
Okay.
And I was a
the only
squirt.
motherfucker with the head tilted.
Yeah,
dude.
but the only one with his head tilted, you know? And so I scanned it, and I, some form of Photoshop.
The original
Yeah.
Photoshop.
Yeah, the
I
OG
feel you.
Photoshop. And I put the fucking... I probably like printed it, cut it out, printed another one, cut it out, scanned the whole thing, like OG Photoshop style.
Yeah.
And I put his head on this girl. And now he was a big behemoth motherfucker, but he was also, overweight as a linebacker would be, a big monster dude. And there was like a slight nickname that he had, but no one would probably ever say it to him, which was Titty Tom.
Oh, wow.
And,
Oh, shit.
and I think I may have wrote it on the picture or something like that.
Oh,
and
shit.
And I emailed it to one person. And I was, don't send this to anyone, obviously, or whatever, or something.
Uh-huh.
And
You know damn well when you say don't
don't
send
say
this to
that.
anybody.
I had no idea.
Immediately,
in high
it's going
school.
everywhere.
No,
Yeah.
like I really had no idea at the time. Like I was that naive to it. Was that new? Like technology
Yes.
was just starting to
Yes.
breach there. Like no one even had an email. Like
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like
Bless the two of y'all.
yeah,
like,
exactly.
technologically advanced.
I don't even know how it started to spread around, but it did. Probably through like Instant Messenger or some shit, AOL. And that fucking thing went everywhere.
The original
And-
viral.
Yeah,
Like,
the original
The
viral.
original viral. Yeah, that was my first viral joint. And that went everywhere, and I never knew that it went everywhere until one day
Shit.
where I had failed a test, and I had to go back for it for summer school and pass this. I had to take this test. I had to pass it in order to move on to the 10th grade.
Got it.
And I'm sitting there in the lunchroom before the test, and I'm talking to the kid that I sent it to. He's across the lunch table from me, and all of a sudden we're talking, and his face goes white, and his eyes go blank, and he just starts to do this big tilt up with his head, like one of those. And like behind me, he's doing this thing. He's looking past me now.
Oh my
And I'm
God.
like, what are you looking at? And all of a sudden, it was lights out, and they literally turned the lights off in the lunchroom, and he put a garbage can over my head.
what?
And threw me on the ground and proceeded to beat the shit out of me.
What the fuck?
Titty Tom.
Titty Tom did
Wait,
this.
wait.
Yeah.
Did they plan this or like?
Oh, it was planned.
Oh,
Because Titty Tom had already graduated. He had no reason to be there except to come beat my ass.
Oh, so he was there and you just. Oh, wow.
Right. So it was lights out, and then the garbage can came off, and he kind of hit me in the head a few times. Like, no bleeding and no
Yeah.
black eyes, which I don't know how the fuck that happened. He was a
Monster.
monster. Yeah. But I had some lumps on the top of my head, and I
Yeah.
was definitely scared as fuck.
Yeah.
And I kind of like,
The
I was.
garbage can must have been terrifying.
Listen, this is where, I didn't know what happened.
No.
Just imagine that.
Like this look and then
Yeah,
silence.
listen, and this is probably the first time this was like ever said. And I came to, and I started to like stand up, and the lights went on, and the guy that flicked the lights on, I don't know who it was, he went, "The internet is not a game."
No fucking way.
Just like that. It's burned in my brain. And they're like, this is not a game. And and then, so I go and I have to take the test now. So I'm like sitting there and I'm taking the test and I'm trying to like shake this off, but it's like horrific.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then and where I'm sitting, I can see out the door into the hallway, and there he is, standing there, pounding his fists while I'm taking the test. And I'm like, it's not over! It's not over! And like the whole time, I'm sitting there, he's pounding his fucking fists at me, and he can't, like the way he's positioned in the hallway, and only I can see him.
No.
And I'm like trying to like look at the teacher, and like nothing. It's just fucking crickets in there. Everyone's taking a test, and he's fucking pounding his fist. And like somehow the test was over, and it was like a little baby rush that came out through the door. And I like did some fucking ninja move and like slimmed through and whatever, and I made it into a staircase, and I'm like doing it up and down like I was fucking Jason Bourne. I'm like cooking and grabbing different floors and doing all this shit to try and exit. But the thing is that I don't have a car because I'm fucking 14, and and I very well can't go stand outside at the bus stop.
No.
So it's all bad. And, no cell phone. You can't call nobody. There was nothing I could do. So I'm just kind of racing around the school, like maybe looking for help of some sort. But it's the summer. There's no one at school. So God. It's like I'm trying to just fucking evade this dude. And I go and I run and I find my gym teacher in his little like gym teacher office. And I run in and I'm shook up and I fucking tell him, and I'm like, Tom's after me, blah, 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 whatever. And he's like, whoa, buddy, slow down. He's like, yeah, exactly. He's like, got his little fucking mini shorts on, and he's standing there. He's like, whoa, buddy, his hands at his hips, like, hey, let's slow it down a bit, And I'm like, I tell him the whole thing. And then here's what I didn't realize. Again, it takes another turn. Who the fuck comes walking through the door?
No.
Tom.
How the fuck did Tom know?
Not only did Tom know, the fucking gym teacher's the fucking football coach. Oh. They're best friends. Oh. He walks in and he's like, Tommy! And he gives him like the little punches in the side, like, Tommy! The little simulated punch moves. And he's doing that. Like, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, I'm in the goddamn Twilight Zone. Like, I found the one place I could hide, and it's the mentor of the guy who wants to kill me. and he's like, and then of course, Tom proceeds to rough me up in the gym teacher's office with him standing there. Oh, God. And I'm like, God damn, this is some fucking shit right now. Now, granted, he's not like pounding me, but there's activity in the office.
There's activity.
And then I get out of there. I think I make it home, whatever. Or no, I made it to some other office. Whatever it was, I made it to like the top dog at the school. And my parents came and they asked me to leave. They were like, John can't stay here anymore. He can't come to this school next year. So,
oh, wow.
And and meanwhile, then they were like, Tom just graduated, and this could mess up his shit for college. And I'm like, no fucking colleges are gonna see this shit. Yeah. The internet wasn't that wild, right. But at the time, that was their whole. The internet is not a game.
Oh wow!
And so that was my whole thing. And then I guess Tom got to have his legacy, and I got fucking booted. But Tom, if you're out there, God bless you, sir. Yeah. And I really, truly do regret doing some shit like that, because that was fucked up. I'm a different person now. Like, I see how shitty that, like, how bad that must have made Tom feel. That's a fucking dick move.
It is.
You know what I mean? To anybody. And that's that. But you know what that is, though? Even though it's kind of like a reverse bullying, it's still bullying in some form. Sure. Yeah. And I'm definitely against that shit. Because I got bullied. But you know what I mean? Like, at certain points, I definitely did.
At the same time, it's also true of, like, we're kids then, bro.
Yeah, you're kids.
Yeah, 14.
Trust me, I'm not beating myself up.
and like your mind.
Everybody, we got to pause. We didn't have
Yeah, with a moment of silence. And I hope Tom's doing great things in his life. And my Photoshop didn't send him back at all. Lord knows I did all right.
I'm sure.
Literally, Tom is the dude who now invented Photoshop.
Right? Yeah.
Like, that's what we're going to find.
He's Tom from MySpace.
That'd be fucking.
It would not be the illest ending to that story.
And he's really looking back at you.
And that picture of him in the chair, I took that picture.
Oh my god!
You know how much royalties I'm getting off that?
And podcast over, Mama.
Every millennial that's listening is like, "What's MySpace?"
You know what's wild?
Oh, man.
It's crazy how many guests come on here, and MySpace was the platform that set them off.
Oh yeah, no question.
It's wild how influential that shit was.
Yeah, dude, MySpace set it off for me because I was able to contact like artists.
How old were you when you started like using that shit?
I have no idea.
Word.
Yeah.
Was it during high school, college era?
College, I think. Maybe towards the end of college even. I really wasn't into like the whole like social media start with that shit. Like even though I was like, the chat rooms and all that shit, that was just to like, fuck around and pretend I was someone else.
Yeah. Where'd you go next, and what was that high school experience like?
I went to another Catholic school that was co-ed. So all prior to that, I was in public schools, and then I was in Catholic school for high school. And, just more white privilege. Straight up. Where I had, if you look at my class picture, it looks like it was in the deep South.
Oh, wow.
There was one black kid, Red Verse, who was my man, but that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But that's also kind of like indicative of Staten Island too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was cool. But again, make new friends again, do the whole shit again.
Yeah.
Be a class clown some more.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's crazy how you like the transition of a class clown from public school to like Catholic private.
Yeah. Like I think I remember. I mean, there I was in trouble all the time.
Yeah.
Like I had detention for the whole high school era.
It was like a second class.
Yeah, no, it was just part of my shit. And like, I remember at one point they called my parents and they were like, "John's on indefinite detention." So basically, and I was like, "What does that mean? When do I get off?" And they were like, "You're on it until we say you're not on it anymore."
9th period detention.
Wow.
So that was it. Like I got indefinite detention.
That's fucking epic.
They made a new homeroom for like me and my fuck off friends. It was called Homeroom Zero, and it was for all the fuck ups.
Yo, these fucking like lightweight, dark 30 gems out of fucking nowhere, bro. Homeroom Zero.
Yeah, for everybody that was fucking off.
Jesus.
Was college like an eye-opening experience for you? Was it like, did it start broadening out? Like where?
I think so.
Did you go straight to college after high school?
Yeah, I went straight to college after high school to a college that would accept me.
Word.
So not any of the all-star schools I thought that I could talk my way into or something.
Yeah, straight up. Straight up.
Apparently that doesn't work like that. So I went to a state university in New York, upstate, a couple hours up north, and met a lot of hippies, and learned that there was different types of weed, and I went to school for business. I failed out in the first semester. My GPA was a 0.9.
Wow.
In college. Damn.
In college. So that was cool. But they let me stay if I switched my major. So I did that. And then
What'd you switch to?
hospitality and hotel resort management.
That.
So clearly I was like, I'm going to own a casino.
Oh my God.
I'm moving to Thailand. Nah. So, clearly that didn't work out either. But I did stick it out to the end. But I realized maybe a year and a half into that associate's degree that I wanted to go to school for something film related.
Really?
But I still stuck it out and finished up that degree just
what
to
brought that about?
Make mom happy.
Respect.
Yeah.
What brought that about?
So in high school, I never really realized it, but I always had a fucking camera since I was probably like 6. So
really?
Always shooting. My mom kind of brought it up to me, I think, at once. I was always shooting something, like whether it was like, trick photography or stop motion or something. Like I was always doing something. And then in high school, I was definitely like cataloging the fuckery. Like
video or
video.
Video.
So it was like the missions and
that's
the
epic.
fucking breaking people's, stealing Christmas decorations, breaking pumpkins all over the place, whatever, stupid shit, travels. So, and then I taught myself how to edit while I was in high school as well. And then I went to college. I never thought about it. I never thought of it as a career
just
or
a
anything
hobby
like that.
at this point.
Just like,
Doing
just
it for fun.
some way to catalog this footage and cut it. And I would cut them to music. I think one of the first ones I did, I cut it to Gin and Juice.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like a bunch of my friends drinking at like 17.
That's amazing.
And like driving in cars with like extremely long, shaky shots. Yeah. And then I was like, I want to be an editor. That was my thing. I was like, I'll go be an editor because I know how to do this. I can hone this craft.
Yeah.
So I got accepted to the Art Institute of Phoenix. My mom had moved to Arizona right when I went away to college.
Got it.
So I didn't really have a place to live. Like I had my dad's basement, which was an option that I did for like a summer. But then I was basically just living up at school. And I would go back to my dad's for like a holiday or something, but that was about it. And then when I was kind of wrapping it up, I was like, all right, you know what? AZ has like a low cost of living. I could just move out there and just go straight into an apartment. And that's what I did. And when I got out there, I went to school. I took it, I guess, a hair more seriously.
Yeah.
But like if I was in school right now, I would be just crushing it, soaking it up, loving it.
Yeah.
But goddamn, did I, not at all.
It's funny how that is.
Shout out to Sally Mae, though.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You can't find me.
You're going to reach the other John Colombo.
Yeah, exactly. You can reach that other guy.
John Colombo 225.
Right, exactly. Fucking.
What was Arizona like for you?
AZ was cool. It was like a whole new world. I loved it.
Word.
I loved it. It was beautiful, and there was palm trees, and I had a swimming pool, and it was just like not Brooklyn or Staten Island.
Yeah.
And I really dug it. And then I kind of overstayed my welcome there a little bit. Like while I was in college, I started a wood flooring business because my friends did that, and then I did it with them for like a couple months, and then I totaled my car, and I took the money from the car, and I got a truck and tools with the money, and then I just started doing it on my own, and I started making crazy money. So I think it was like $500,000 in the first year while I was in school.
What the?
So it was like stupid.
Hold on. We got to stop here. $500,000 in your wood flooring business.
Yeah.
Why were you still in school?
So I wasn't even going really. Like the guys would they would like drop me off at school in the morning and go to the job and then pick me up later. And like I have nothing to show for those times, like money wise. Like I don't know what I did with the bar tabs and just big screen and bullshit. And
I love that. That's so amazing though.
I had this vision of myself though with like a shoulder holster with a gun and a wife beater and a motorcycle, and I wanted a big screen TV, and that was like my vision when I moved to AZ, which is so fucking stupid. And I got the big screen was the first thing. Best Buy card done. Swipe. Not even in my name. It was in my girlfriend's name at the time. I have no idea what. Yeah. And then, then it went to. Then I got a gun, right? I had to live there for 90 days with the driver's license in order to be able to purchase a gun. Yeah. So now I was like, all right, cool. I got my first pistol. I got the Beretta.
I feel we're in a video game where like you have to go through levels and then you get money, like go to a little shop and equip something for you and build your character.
Yeah, because when I moved there, the only thing I had was the wife beater. And then
got the whip, got the big screen, got the Beretta.
Then this dude wanted me to do his wood floor, and he had a brand new Kawasaki 636. Mind you, I don't know how to ride a motorcycle. I just had this vision of myself on one with a gun.
Where did you get? Where did that vision come from?
It was probably like some like weird. I don't know. I thought I was like fucking Van Damme or some shit. I don't know.
He's literally like a
Steven Seagal.
Yeah, he's like a bad guy in the fucking Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah, exactly. And I got the motorcycle, and the guy dropped it off at my house, and it was sitting there for like 2 days. Laughing at me in the driveway. And then I finally just got up the balls to just get on it, and it was a beast of a bike, and I got on it, and I'm like, I just had the fear that it was just going to shoot out from under me just go away. And like, so I get on it, and I'm like, I drove around my neighborhood in first gear for like for like an hour just to get like stability on the bike. And I never got comfortable on it. I was always afraid while I was on it. It was like, it never felt natural to me. Like driving a car, I drive the fuck out of a car.
Yeah.
But on the bike, it was just like, okay, I'm going straight. I'm going straight. I'm going straight. I'm shifting. I'm shifting. I'm turning left. I'm turning left. Like in my mind, it was just the whole time I'm just trying to process what's happening, and it never felt natural to me. And I remember and I fell off it a couple times, like going real slow, trying to turn into a parking lot. It's just like boom. Like,
I had that experience. Like the first time I was ever on a motorcycle, I was like 16, and I get on it, and I had the experience of like, whoop, and it's like we're 0 to like 80 right away. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I can't stop this. I don't know how to stop it. I fucking like do this like weird thing where now I'm like Superman, and like my legs started coming off, and I was like, I either crash into this wall, or I fucking just fall off. And I was like, well, this is gonna suck. I let go, fall off. I spin probably like 10 times, and literally the entire side of my body from my shoulder down to my ankle, shredded, just blood. Just skin the entire thing.
Bro, I never like built up the courage to be able to ride a motorcycle.
I'll never get on one again.
I've literally rode on Ray's motorcycle once, like behind him, and like it was actually the greatest feeling ever. But like I'm just like, bro, like you're not gonna find me on a motorcycle. There's no way.
It's definitely a death trap.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it looked cool in the movies, so I was like all about it.
You built your character. You were like John Payne, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
Fucking killing Terminators
Jumping off
shit.
the motorcycle, slow mo, just shooting.
Yeah, and then somehow landing back on it.
After you flip over like a bridge.
Yeah. So that was cool, and I started doing videos while the flooring thing was starting to happen, like as I got maybe within my last year of film school.
Okay.
And so I got my stepdad gave me and my buddy a loan to get a couple cameras and some gear. And really that I have that to thank for everything in some respect. You know what I mean? Because had that not happened, had that opportunity, had he not given us that and that opportunity not been placed in front of me like that, I don't know that I would have been so open to just shooting anything. And I was treating it like a business and, trying to do everything. So I shot fucking, a local commercial, a bar mitzvah, fucking, you name it, I did it. And then when I did my first music video, for like an unknown artist that my best friend was managing in New York. Like they flew him out and we did this video for, next to nothing or whatever. Yeah. And it was that one, like, we shot it, we like edited it the next day and then it went up. And so the turnaround on it was so crazy that instantly I got to see like results. And that to me was the opportunity to hone my craft very, very quickly. And was this by seeing whether people hated it or loved it that fucking quick. And it wasn't this, like, we were trying to shoot short films and, we'll write a movie and this and that. And, like, all these things that take fucking years.
Yeah.
And probably won't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't fucking Quentin Tarantino coming out of college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then as that was happening, I still thought I was going to be an editor. And then as that was happening, I started to fall into the director slot and really start to, like, get creative. And music video was my shit, so I never looked back. Like it was on from that moment. And then
what time was this around?
This is 2007, 2008.
Okay.
So not that long ago, less than 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Let's just call it 10.
Okay.
Is where it kind of started.
Yeah.
Now, a quick question, just because like you have a really good wood flooring business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to think of myself in that, right? Like, or any other person. Why stop that? Like you could probably grow it and make really, really good money. You're making great money. Why stop that to do something that's not really bringing in income? Even though like you like it, you could build like an awesome business that's already like succeeding.
So it was probably layers of guilt from going to school and wanting to like continue to pursue that after I'd spent fucking 4 years doing it.
And you'd always like somehow had a camera on.
Right. So that was also a thing. It was also kind of in there, but really just the drive to follow the dream. Right. So once I get a vision, I want to fucking go for it and I want to own it and kill it and that whole thing. And the wood flooring was, there was no like payoff for me in my soul.
Yeah.
You know, it was fucking miserable. We're in fucking, it's 1,000,000 degrees in Arizona. I'm taking a shit in a different person's house every fucking day. I'm eating, I'm like, and then I started to turn a corner where in the beginning it was dope because we were just like making mad bread. Everyone was hungover every day. We would just roll in there. It was like my buddies were working for me and working with me. And we, you know, I partnered with my boy. Like we were just like doing it. And like, you know, it was just get fucked up, do a job, you know, make enough money to keep getting fucked up and do the next job. And it was like that kind of a thing. And then I started to realize I was like kind of turning a corner when I'm like, I'm in somebody's house and I'm in their cold cut drawer while they're at work. And I'm rolling up ham and stuffing it into my face. And then I'm going through their cabinets and I'm standing and I'm peeking out the window looking towards the driveway while they're eating their children's Teddy Grahams. And I'm like, this isn't for me. This is not for me. So, you know.
That was beautiful.
You know, and
For real.
you know what I mean?
I literally
beautiful.
put myself in
Yeah.
your shoes.
Yeah.
And shed a thug tear and said, I feel you, John. This shit ain't for us.
You know?
Well, I think people come to that crossroads, especially like I just want to talk about the influence of money, right?
And you're young at this point. You're like early 20s.
Yeah.
You know,
Fresh
because
out.
so many, it just like speaks to the point of, you know, sacrificing your life or your dream for money, right? And sometimes people think money is what can, you know, you hear bring you happiness or, oh man, if I had that amount of money coming in, shit, I wouldn't need anything. But, you know, for you, there came a time where you did have the money, but your soul wasn't being fulfilled. So the money it didn't really mean anything. It's just an interesting dynamic to think about how much power does money really have. I'm not saying it does or doesn't.
That's a great point.
It's just
I
an
like that you're
interesting
trying
topic.
to, you know, rein it back into a place of meaning. And, you know, it's true. It really is true. So the money was cool and it was fun, but I wasn't doing what I loved. And I started to fall in love, deep, deep love with the music industry and film. I'm a filmmaker, but living in the music industry, right? So, and I didn't know anyone in music, and I, you know, hustled and plowed my way through that door. I would, you know, find out who was coming to town and go to a show and grease a promoter and get backstage and get in a manager's ear and show him something and offer him something. And the next thing I know, I was on a plane. And the next thing I know, the shit's on MTV. And then, you know, I come back and fly back, and Monday I'm back in class. And so that was sexual for me. You know what I mean? Like that was love. I fell in love with it.
Bro,
and that
for real.
and that, all that wood floor shit and the money shit, that meant nothing to me.
Sure.
Because the drive and passion that I had been, the momentum that I was gaining, it was a fucking struggle. Like a struggle. The type of struggle that your parents just don't understand, right? And that'll ring home for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
You're an artist, more often than not, unless you come from an artist family, they're not going to get it, right? So my dad comes from, you know, construction and sanitation and, you know, that, like, you know, go be a plumber and that kind of thing.
Have a trade,
learn a trade, which I did learn a trade that I could always fall back on, but, you know, everybody always wanted me to fall back on it real quick. And so it's like that. I could, you know, having those conversations like year after year, it took a long time for people to really kind of like be cool with it. You know, I think mom was always supportive.
How was it with you dealing with, especially in the early stages, right, of dealing with that family dynamic? Because I feel like every creator goes through that.
Yeah.
That little like threshold of like the first kind of obstacle you have to be in your pursuit of this is my dream is you have to bypass the immediate family. And then later on it becomes like, are you really going to make this a career? But like the first hurdle is that like, can I get through my immediate family?
Yeah.
And then set out into the world. What was that like for you? Because even in the beginning, as glamorous as like those events, like being at a show, next day you on a flight, video on MTV, which is like, what the fuck? It's like an artist hearing their song on the radio for the first time.
Yeah.
Right?
That's exactly
but
what it's like.
still scraping by.
Right.
Like it's exciting, but you're still scraping.
Scraping,
right?
for sure.
And like your passion is building because of these experiences. Your finances aren't able to show how glorious you see this is going to become.
Yeah.
So what was that like battle like, or like what was that dealing with that like, especially in those young stages for you, because everybody goes through that.
Yeah.
Like, Mom, I got a song on this dude's project, or like our parents.
Yeah. But how much money did you make? Yeah. And that's the thing too. And that's like, and I want to bring it back a little bit. There's no disrespect to my father, because he comes from a life of, you get fucking paid for what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It could be your first day at work on a construction site and you never picked up a hammer in your life. You're going to get fucking paid.
Yeah.
They don't come and audition you for that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Straight
saying?
up.
But
what do you mean pay your dues?
right, exactly.
What does that mean?
So as an artist, like, family seeing me struggle, or kind of like, I'm doing all this shit and I got shit on MTV, and how come I don't have a Bentley? You know what I mean? Like, or like, I'm living in Arizona because cost of living is cheap, and I'm barely there anyway because now I'm flying all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's like that. It does take, it's you have to cope with it. You know what I mean? You have to push through it, because if I made this a hobby, which was recommended to me, like, do it on the weekends. If I did that, if I made it a weekend thing and it was a hobby instead of a passion and a career for me, I never would have made anything of myself. Never.
For real.
I had to fucking push through it. You have to.
You have to.
You have to. And if you don't, it'll eat you up. And if you look, this is a little bit off base, but I don't know. I got sucked down the rabbit hole of like morbid shit one day, and I started looking up like deathbed confessions.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so like the number one thing that people regret on their deathbed is not having followed their dream.
For real.
Could you fucking imagine going your whole life and never ever pursuing that thing that you wanted to do? And now you're about to die, and like you never tried. Because it's one thing to try and fail all day long.
Yeah.
But because then you could say you did it.
Yeah.
You could feel good about it afterwards.
Yeah.
But like to try and to never do it, it's rough, man. And some people have to do it.
It really is.
Right?
Yeah.
You have to. You have to. You have a family to support, or
Yeah.
you have. You know what I mean? Or some fucking bills to be like some.
It's
Like you
big,
have
yeah.
to. And I didn't have like financial support from my family. Like I put myself in a position where I had to make money in order to pay my rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our car or whatever the fuck I had. And I definitely I'm not saying I didn't get any help along the way.
Yeah.
But I wasn't getting my bills paid for.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I put myself in that position from the moment I left home. And that was critical for me to succeed, because I had to.
Yeah.
I had no fucking option, and I damn sure wasn't about to move back into my mom's house.
You're damn right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's no disrespect to anybody that has.
Yeah.
But-
Everybody has their own shit that they're
Right.
dealing with, or story
Exactly.
of getting there.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
But I just couldn't in my mind.
Yeah.
And I put that out of there. And I also wouldn't get a day job, because I knew that it would take me away from it. And I'm not saying don't
Really?
do that.
Okay.
You know
so
what I
you
mean?
Took,
But
you
I
took
couldn't
the
do
like
that.
full step into
Yeah.
you will starve as an artist until you don't.
Yeah. Because it didn't matter. Even when I made all that money doing flooring, I still didn't have any savings.
Sure.
Yeah.
I probably only had a few grand at a time, and I still was going cashing fucking, $15,000 checks every week and 20. You know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck happened to any of that. I guess I traveled a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I fucking.
You look back and be like, wait, really though? What the fuck happened?
Yeah, because then I've had years where I was like struggling and like somehow made it through the year on like 40 grand or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, how did I do that? I must be a fucking magician. You know what I mean?
For real. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, so that intermittent support mixed with intermittent people questioning what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not being able to understand it. And that was definitely hard for me at times.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was definitely hard for me at times.
Take us through that though.
When you want something so bad
Mm.
and no one else sees it, it's like being locked in a fucking padded room.
Yeah.
Because you could just explain yourself to death. And you can't make people understand
Yeah,
shit.
and then people still want.
You know what I mean?
No, you cannot.
So then you just start to quiet yourself. and work in that same padded room, but now you're just working. You know what I mean? So it's a difficult feeling to articulate. Like I can't really express that. I think you did a fucking
incredible job doing it.
You know that
because that's really what it feels like.
Yeah, it's difficult, man. It's a fucking. But I'm no different than anyone else there. Like that's a struggle. That is a real thing. Like any fucking artist, like I don't know any artist that their parents were like, "Oh, what? You want to be a fucking rapper? You want to paint pictures? Fucking yeah, of course, go do that.
I'll support
you're totally gonna make it.
Honey.
Sure, you know what I mean?
For real.
Yeah, and that's not to say that my parents didn't believe in me or anything like that. Like they definitely did, but. You know, there's levels to it, I'm sure.
Truly.
Because I doubted myself at points. Yeah. I'm sure they did.
Like, a part of me looks back, right? Like, we always, like, get to certain stages where we look back on, like, the road travel. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, up until hitting rock bottom, it was always, like, optimistic. Like, it's our year. But, like, when you're...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, like, but when you're struggling, but you're also moving towards something, and, like, you're around your dream and are pushing forward... Even if it's not tangible, you look back and you're smiling at it, right? Because I don't think any artist in any field, or even athlete, or even fucking, it's all relative, dog, like, or any career, right, can grow and become what they fully are capable of without being dead in the trenches. Yeah. It's not going to come. Like, nobody, like, made it to a certain point, or no, like, I feel like, and shit, if I'm wrong, y'all let me know, but, like, I don't feel like there's many artists out there that, like, had support from the family financially until Johnny's dream was good and you know, had everything taken care of and just focus on your craft, because that's comfort. Like, you don't get to, like, the essence of your craft without discomfort.
Yeah.
You don't get to any level of, like, a career without feeling what it is to have nothing. And that's why I feel like it's akin to, you know, you compare some of the kids that had nothing growing up and then knew what nothing was and never wanted to have nothing again to attain something. And then you look at some of these kids from really prominent families whose family gives them everything, who they've experienced all facets of the world and every opulence you can by the time they're fucking 12. So it's like, what's left? And then it's just like everything's around. It's like there's no struggle. But like, dude, what's the point?
Pain is the first 10 fucking rungs on the ladder of success. If you haven't climbed through that, then you can't be. And I'm not saying success like money. Yeah. It could be success like money. It could be success like, peer appreciation.
Yeah.
It could be being knowing thyself and being a good spirit.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know, getting humbled, feeling pain. Pain and struggle are the fucking the entirety of the build.
Yeah.
Like success is a fucking a ladder, a mountain of fucking failures put together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's it, at least it was for me. You know what I mean? And the world probably didn't see it that way. And that's not even to gas myself up and say I'm successful, but like.
But no,
I feel good about who I am.
Fuck that. Again, this is where I come in on that, like, humble and all this shit. Like, fuck that. You goddamn right you are. You know why? It's that, and this is the beauty of this podcast, and we spoke about this shit on the phone. It's like, mama, we made it, right? Mm-hmm. And, yo, what was, like, success, right? But deep in my, like, ethos, dog, yes, there's levels of like echelons that people reach and things that they get as a result of it. Money, access, cars, lifestyle, this, that, and the other. But the true success, and I feel like you embody that, is having actualized a dream. Right?
Yep.
Regardless of what comes from that dream, regardless of the spoils that are reaped, or somebody realize their dream and then realize, you know what, like my dream isn't giving back to me as much as I need, but I did it.
Yeah.
Right? And then go off into somewhere else, or somebody like pivots from one career to another and like continues to grow. At the end of the day, it's growth, but like success, especially in this like bubble of entertainment and media that we live in, right? And especially in this like externally driven world that we live in, success is really being able to look at, in my eyes, is being able to look at yourself in the mirror and smile.
Which is hard.
Here. It's hard.
Very hard.
Yeah.
But those are the rungs on this fucking ladder, bro.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, you can do it a real dirty way.
Yeah.
Or you can do it, a clean way. And when you get to that top of that ladder and you're able to look yourself in the mirror, the big question is am I the best me that I can be? And then when you start asking yourself that fucking question,
Very scary.
dude, I guarantee most people, if you looked yourself in the mirror right now and asked yourself if you are the best, the absolute best that you can be, the answer is no.
No.
And if you say yes, you're lying.
For real.
You're lying.
Absolutely.
Because
For
every
real.
day is a struggle to be the best that you can be.
It's a search for that.
Okay? This is a journey, like life from day one to the end is a journey to find thyself.
And the journey
Figure you out.
And
You know
the
what I'm
journey is
saying?
really Aleppo with bombs fucking like blasting and not knowing if you're gonna like be in a bomb area while you're sleeping. That's what the journey is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The journey is
100%.
Gotham City fucking like shattering in front of you.
Yeah.
But you somehow make it to the next step and wake up. That's what the journey is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The journey
over
is
and over again.
Like so many people talk about the journey, like they got the golden ticket to Willy Wonka's factory.
Well, also, there's no end point.
And they're Charlie. You know what I mean? They have to be.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though.
And I'm Grandpa Joe laying in the bed.
And there's no end point. You know what I mean? Like there's no like.
For real.
Can't get up, son.
Augustus Gloop doing fucking backstroke in the chocolate river. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Augustus Gloop.
But yeah, there's no end point, and I think like people want to attain that tangible thing, like that "Mama, I made it" thing, where it's like the pinnacle. But usually, whenever you get there, even like whether it's a like money thing, or a status thing, or anything that you've drawn that line for. You get there and you're like, all right, now I'm here. And usually it's never as good as you've played it back 1,000 times in your mind it would be. You're there and you're like, that was cool. All right, now where am I going? Like we say all the time, everyone struggles. Millionaire struggles to be billionaires.
Yep.
Like it's all relative, and going along that journey, it's a constant evolution. Things change, and it's different things at different moments. And that's what's beautiful about it. And going to you, I think one of the more pivotal moments was just discovering your dream. That's a huge point.
That's a big thing.
Sometimes people live their entire lives with, like, you may even know it. Actually, not even knowing it, not even taking the chance to know it. Just saying, like, fuck it, I'm just going to do this. And like you said, sometimes you have to because you got a family, you got to pay your bills, and maybe you do, like, the risk analysis and you can't take that jump. But I think giving yourself a moment to realize and discover what that dream is important in itself, so you can go after it.
Yeah, I think I probably hit some luck there in being able to figure out the dream, because there's a lot of people that know that they're a creative and know that they have a dream, but they don't know what the dream is, and that's probably a really tough place to be in, I would say. But keep going, because it'll come.
And often it comes from something, getting out of a place that you don't like. Be grateful for those moments, because it's often those moments that show you kind of that light, or else you would have been still laying those wood floors, my man.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we all searching, right? Like, I was in this music shit for God knows how long, and like, to be honest, like the last like 3 to 4 years was really like, shit, like, I'm just trying to be the music guy. You know what I mean? Like, outwardly looking at me, like, and it used to trip me out how many people were like, yo, dog, like, Noosh, you're getting it. Like, I see it. It's going to happen. Like, look, everybody feels this way. You're such an inspiration, all that. And, like, I felt like they were talking to a fucking hollow figurine of me. You know what I mean? And, like, I was telling myself that was still the dream. But it's crazy that, like, it's one of those scenarios where, like, the dream wasn't that for me anymore. You know what I mean? But I was living within the dream I had created.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like, it didn't change until, and, like.
And the character you created.
Yeah.
Like, you were supposed to be this guy that you thought of. Yeah.
And it's wild because for me, like, imagine living a life, right, where you're literally basing all of your shit on, does it match how they see me?
Oof.
And then when you, deadly shit, right? And then it's like everybody sees you differently, right? So it's like you're putting up this allure until it switches.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Fortunately for me, it was like when you hit rock bottom and then look at yourself in the mirror, like I started to smile knowing that like now, because this has happened, now let's put it into gear and start figuring it the fuck out.
Glorious moment.
Glorious moment, bro.
It's like minus the Teddy Grahams.
You feel me?
And the ham.
Yeah.
Yo, for real. John, I want to talk to you about when it started becoming more real for you.
The moment for me where it started to become real was, I can't remember really what the first TV video was. I remember the first countdown video, and that was Slaughterhouse microphone. But I don't remember the first like TV video. But I'm sure that was monumental as fuck.
Yeah.
But like for me.
Yeah.
But I do remember like graduating college, and everyone has this like portfolio review where like alumni and like people who are hiring come and look at the up and coming talent. And it was fucking Phoenix, man.
It's crazy.
The talent pool was pretty limited, but the people hiring was really limited. So they were like coming from like some place where they're like, yeah, well, you can be an intern at the news station kind of shit. You know what I mean? And so everybody had like this bullshit thing. It would be like, yeah, I went and shot some footage in the woods, and then I put a filter over it, and it looks like the Predator mask. And then they like come over to my booth, and I have like a 30-minute documentary that I just submitted to Sundance that I shot all over the country on my, and then I have a TV playing, I don't know, probably 8 to 10 videos that are rolling on MTV at that moment.
Oh, wow.
Right? So this is like while I'm still in school.
college.
So that, there was things happening.
Yeah.
Right there. You know what I mean? It was already going down.
Yeah.
So like when I kind of saw my peers at that moment, I was just like, okay, something's happening here. And then in 2010, Double XL did the Freshman 10 cover, and that was when it had like Wiz and Big Sean and Freddie Gibbs and Nipsey and all those dudes, and they did a Freshman 5 directors, and they put me in that.
Oh wow!
And that was like my first print. That was like
that's a big first print.
That was a big first print.
That's humongous.
Especially for that year too. There was like
That year was a hell of a fucking
hell of
year,
a year.
bro.
Yeah.
And so being able to like call my parents and tell them to go to like any place that was like a newsstand and go buy this magazine and see me in it, and they were just like that. My mom cried, and that was my "Mama, I made it" moment.
Mama! We made it! Go pick up that copy. It's on Complex. That's what, like, hold on. What was that feeling like? How'd you find out? Like, how were you contacted?
So I have no idea still to this day how I was contacted, but the writer for the article just had reached out to me and found me somehow, some way, and reached out. And at the time, I was doing like some Wu-Tang and Dipset videos and the Slaughterhouse shit. Like, I kind of helped helped pop them a bit. Like I heard the first record before it was even a group, and I called like Scram Jones, who put me in touch with fucking Joel Ortiz's manager and this and that, and then we did a video called Move On, and that was like the first like Slaughterhouse video as them like being able to see them all together, and it was like a fucking 8-minute song, and it was just all the four of them just pouring their hearts out about their fucked up record deals that they had in the past.
Wow.
So Joe with Def Jam and Joel with Aftermath and Crooked with Death Row, and then it was Royce's public apology to M.
Holy fuck.
And that then that kind of started to get momentum there, and then we did the microphone video, and then I think I did like solo videos for all of them, and it was starting to pick up, and things were feeling good. But like the magazine thing, I guess they contacted me because there was momentum for me.
Yeah.
You know? And then when it came out, I was just like, ugh, like, how? This is real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had that shit framed. And what's ill is that anybody whose house I've been in that was also in that issue, whether it's the other directors or the artists, like going to Gibbs' place and Gibbs has it on his wall. Like, I always take a picture with somebody with us framed
By
with the
the
frame.
wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because everyone has it. You know what I mean? That was a defining moment for all of us, for everyone on that cover. And so that was like a big moment. That was a big moment.
That's insane.
And that's for anybody. Yeah, any artist that's made it on a Freshman 10 cover is like, that's like,
it's huge.
Whether they popped or not, like that's a big accomplishment.
I mean, it's a famous thing. I mean, to get on the freshman class, it's like, oh shit. Yeah. You're recognized. Eyes are on you. Yeah. Very serious.
I want to ask you this, like coming up, like now it's starting to pick up. Now it's starting to become real. Now that young motherfucker that was greasing the fucking, promoters and the venues and all that and getting backstage and chopping it, like you would develop your hustler art because you're not a shy guy. Right. And you have a good time. So it's like you're finding ways to communicate with these cats. You're allowing your craft to start showing itself. And it's proving itself by being on MTV, all that. This is when like music TV is still bustling. Yeah. Right. What was it like for you, and like how did you navigate those waters? Because, I feel like in this digital age now, right? Like so many cats are getting good behind the screen, right? But in this business, like you need to be moving and shaking. Cats need to know who you are because naturally you're in seedier waters. Right. Like the music game ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But
number 4080.
You feel me?
The record company is shady.
Very real.
How was that like for you in like the hustle and bustle, and like what was that? Because I feel like you came at a time where it was ripe for somebody like you to make a personal stamp, right? And as a creator, like your dream was coming true, but like it was really coming true. This shit was your dream. It wasn't like, I'm going to go be a music video director, right? Your path led you to this role and you owned the fuck out of it, right? And naturally you're directing your shit. You're just going here, there, getting what you needed to do done. But how was that, especially young John, right? Navigating those waters and meeting these cats along the way. Like you're literally, your path inserted yourself into the history of the music business for our generation.
So I would say that my hustle and network skills were like far exceeding my talents as a director for quite a period of time. Like it took a while for the talent to catch up, or the skill level to catch up. And you knew
that.
Yeah, I knew that. It bothered the shit out of me too, though, because no one else knew that. I knew that though. Like deep down, when I looked at myself in the mirror, I was getting work. I got jobs when I didn't even show a reel. People were just like, I went to Jamaica with Junior Reed and we shot some videos, and we did a video with Cassidy, and I was like wilding out, like dancing in the fucking Jamaican club, and Cassidy was like, "This dude's wild. I want you to do my video." And like he didn't even see anything, you know what I'm saying? And that as dope as that is, it bothered me.
Respect.
You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to get it off my merits and not off my personality, because that's how I got through school. That's how I passed everything. That's how I got certain places. and that's how I got access, was my mouthpiece.
And your natural talents.
Right.
You know what's wild to that point? And I want to bring this up because, like, it's crazy because this shit haunted me up until recently. And it's crazy, like, hearing your story and, like, it's wild. Like, we've met so many times in passing, you know what I'm saying? And, like, it's just always been a profound respect. And, like, naturally our energies are similar. So it's like, that guy's cool and that guy's cool. Like, cause like, who the fuck is Noosh really in the music game at that time?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the more and more we go into this, it's like, it's crazy how we can see reflections of ourselves. And it's really refreshing and super fucking, like, it's so interesting to me because, like, there are times where we feel so alone in the world, but there are us out there. You know what I'm saying? And it takes, like, a level of vulnerability or openness, if you will, to be able to put that out there. You know what I'm saying? And one thing to that point that one of my favorite teachers ever, James Owens, he was my business communication teacher at SC. And look, like, I'm a word slinger. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I just happen to process things really quickly and be able to articulate. But before I was graduating, my professor brought me in and was like, you know, what are you about to do? All this, and that, and the other. And he sat me down. He's like, look, you're one of the most brilliant, like, natural speakers and communicators that I've ever come across, right? He's like, in this USC field, like, you're dominant. Like, you literally can captivate a room. You're able to speak to somebody one-on-one, and you just have the innate ability to communicate. Like, he's like, he's like, have you taken classes or anything? I'm like, no, what the fuck? But he told me one thing. He's like, I want to tell you one thing as somebody that wants you to win. And he's like, I want to challenge you to study your ability to communicate as an art. Right, to take it seriously, to, like, take classes on speaking, to, like, go into that, because he's like, I feel like that is, and mind you, I was studying business, so I was like, let me hustle and bustle and wustle. But he's like, take it seriously. He's like, you're so naturally gifted, but you don't have structure. He's like, you're able to do it now. He's like, but if you get into the real world and solely rely on your natural talents, it's a recipe to, at best, be average. Because all of the talented ones, if they don't practice, are just ahead until they're behind. And I was like, bro, no, but imagine this. In that conversation, that hit me like a ton of bricks.
Right.
Because I knew, right? But imagine this. I was still getting by on my natural abilities for years after that. Knowing this,
that's where it gets dangerous.
It gets dangerous, but it also touches on a multitude of points. But the one that I want to, like, harp on is knowing something is one thing, right? But actualizing it and finding out what the fuck it takes for you, X person, to figure that out is a whole nother thing, right? I knew I was relying on my natural talents. My natural talents were still getting me by quite nicely, right? I wasn't phoning anybody out. I was just comfortable in my mediocrity of not, like, taking it to another level.
Yeah.
And it was still working. But a la John, I was looking at myself like, fuck, I could be better. Fuck, I need to take it more seriously. Fuck, is this what you really, like, about to, like, are you really putting your shit on? No, you need to be better. And I feel like so many of us go through this and know this, right? And let it eat ourselves up until we take action. You know what I'm saying? So to that point, I just wanted to, like, you know, word to the listener, you know what I'm saying? The mirror is your friend, right? And when history is all said and done, the sooner that we're able to be honest with ourselves about whatever the fuck it is, the quicker our history changes. You feel me? What was it for you going through wanting to get it on your merits, how'd you start being able to get it on your merits and be comfortable with that?
Practice, dude. Practice. You know
it makes
what I mean?
perfect,
like,
bro.
You know, that's the only thing, is just continuing to hustle, to get the jobs, to do better work, and to learn more. And the more I hustled, I got myself into, you know, bigger artists, which led to slightly bigger budgets, which led to me being able to hire better people and do better work. And then all of a sudden, everything looks a little bit different. It feels a little bit different. And now I have something called experience, which is a whole other fucking thing that you don't get out the gate. No. You know what I mean? I didn't ride into this on anyone's coattails, right? So a lot of directors, like, you know, come in riding the wave of a particular artist, right? They're their guy. And they ride in with that guy. And they get to soak up that guy's experience too. He points you in the direction a little bit, right?
If that guy's fortunate enough to make it.
Right. If that guy's fortunate enough to make it or has made it in the past and now you jumped on the boat, right? He's keeping it afloat because he knows some shit. And he can tell you because he's been burned by a director. He did a video he didn't like in the past. He knows a thing or two. He knows the video commissioner. Now we did a few little jobs. Now we can get you some bigger ones. Like, I didn't have anybody to teach me or show me any of those things. So there's that I had to learn all that shit step by step. I remember my first communication with a video commissioner was Atlantic Records, and she was giving me a shot, and she was like, why don't you write on this record? It's B.O.B. and this other guy, and we think we're going to call him Bruno Mars. And it's like that kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? And it was nothing on you. And I was like, I was like, okay, cool. And I had never written a treatment. I had probably done 150 music videos and never wrote a treatment because everything was done off of mouth. Right? So it's like, yo, I want to do this, I want to do that, blah, blah, blah. And the thing was is that the budgets were so small, people will allow you to kind of just do whatever. Then when the big money starts rolling in, that's when the fucking microscope starts cranking. Right? So that's when it becomes a different story. Now, I didn't even know that there was a video commissioner, or you got a rep or an agent, or you were with a production company, or I didn't know the hierarchy of how a music video happens. So if anybody's listening and they're an aspiring filmmaker or music video director, here's something that no one ever told me. The way that a music video in the music industry gets made, not independently, but a record label job. And this is how it happens. An artist goes in the studio and he makes fucking music. And then that music gets approved by the A&R, right? And then it gets sent through the label and everybody says, green light, go, go, go. This is the one. Let's put money behind it. And then they sit down, the commissioners and the other executives, and they decide that this is going to be the budget that we're going to pull out of this artist's budget for the year, which by fourth quarter is gone. Okay? So this is the amount of money that we're going to put into this particular video. And then they take it and they shop it out to reps. And the reps go to the production companies and their directors that are signed to them. And they say, hey, why don't you write for this? So the commissioner has given that out to a handful of reps who have now given it out to a handful of directors at a handful of companies. So now you have something called competition, which you're probably not used to if you've just been working with artists. Right? So now it's not a single bid anymore. You actually have to put your fucking ideas down on paper and visualize it enough to where they can understand it, like it, and approve it.
And your clout amongst the others
that's tremendous. If you don't have the name, you better have the best fucking idea. And the best fucking idea don't necessarily get you the job. So you got to have a thick skin because you better be used to rejection. The biggest motherfuckers in the world don't get the job. A lot of the time.
For real.
Because that happens. And they had tough skin throughout the whole shit. You better be used to rejection. You better be used to it. Because you put your ideas down on paper and it's your blood, sweat, and tears. You think it's the fucking dopest shit, and then you never hear anything again. Right? And when you don't hear anything again, but yet everybody thinks you're fucking killing it. Right? So you're in your fucking house feeling like shit. and you are screaming success, and failure is echoing back at you.
Wow.
And it's
Stop.
and it's horrific.
Stop. Okay, I need a moment of silence for that, dog. You're screaming success and failure is echoing back at you, bruh. Like, that could not have be put any more poetically. Like, that's a fucking John Rumi quote. You know what I'm saying? That like pierced the skin though, B. Like, what the fuck?
So you have to.
That's reality.
Right. You have to own that moment. You know what I'm saying? And I've never spoken candidly like this. You know what I'm saying? When I go do radio and do this and that, it's and not that I do too much of that now, but in the past
Because
that
that's
was all
also
over.
promo.
Sure.
Right, that's promo. Right, it's promo. This is not promo. Yeah. So for that, it's always like, hey, you know, I'm in the building, young, fly, and flashy, young John Colombo. Whoa, you know what I'm saying? We here, baby. You know what I'm doing the big thing. Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's that. But I'm speaking very candidly here. You know what I'm saying? There has been struggle and strife, and it's a fucking, like I said, a mountain of failures.
Shit. I just want to interrupt and say it's an honor to hear it, though. You understand me? Because
Thank you.
Just listening to it, like, it's crazy. Like, this for me is like hearing a classic album, right? Because, what it do? No, because it's like, the songs that hit you, like, even as a director, right? We spoke a bit, and we're going to get into this in a bit, about having to feel something for the song to be able to create it. You know what I'm saying? It's not just fucking the Ford factory where you're just running down the mill. But when another human being, especially a creator that's had your history, right, that has and continues to make his mark on the culture, right, to hear the reality and the human aspect of this grind, it just makes the fucking hairs on my trimmed Persian arms stand all the way the fuck up. You feel me?
You dig.
Yeah. But it's real life, right? Like, that, the essence of that connects with so many people. But in this world of promo and everything's good and we ballin' and
social media.
Yeah. You're only seeing the best me.
Yeah.
Cats are thinking this, and the shit's echoing to them, but nobody's stepping out the house and screaming.
Right.
For the neighbor to come out. Right. Like, I feel like I'm the neighbor, and you're, like, screaming, and I'm, like, knocking on your door, like, John, I feel you. Like, you want to come have some food. You know what I'm saying? But it's this, the story behind the smile that really is what it is. Because in this bubble, what we're doing is we're just putting out all of the good, all of the we're making it, all of the nothing stopping. There may be stories here, there, whatever about shit going on, but what's coming from me to you, X persons or millions of people, is it's all good. When at the end of the day, regardless of who you are and how big you are, you're a human being. Yeah, you got a girl, you got a mom, you got a kid, you got. You're a brother, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got finances to deal with. You're getting fucked on the back end of something, but you can't say it because, like, that's suicide, right? But you're looking at cats like, wait, what the fuck? Like, over this? And all of these things go down, but that's the human shit. The brand shit's always like, it's plush. Yeah. We out here. Yeah. Like, I'm taking a picture with you. Next steps.
Right. And that's the whole thing is too. And I'm guilty of it too. If you know, like,
of course.
We all are, but
that's the thing.
It happens.
It happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying it's not important to project an image of success, because
absolutely
that does matter in the society that we live in. It does matter, right? And so that's.
But even this, how many times are we, until we, like, start to really, like, internalize it and, like, have a conviction towards that question of, am I the best me? Or even, like, on a milder level, am I taking the steps towards that? Because the best me is, like, a fucking pinnacle. Like, almost everybody has to say no, because you could be a better you tomorrow.
For sure.
Right? But the real crux is, like, am I walking towards that really, though? Like, even if I'm not doing everything, what can I do differently, right? Yes, projecting success and faking it so you make it of sorts, or just, like, believing that look, you have to be nuts, to believe you're going to make it. And own that. You have to be fucking batshit crazy. Any artist, any creator, you have to be crazy. Like, our parents are right. 99.9% of the time, the parents in general are right. It's a field that you literally need to be lucky. You need to be working your fucking ass off. You need to be able to withstand the pressures of everything as it comes. You know what I'm saying? You can get it, it can be taken away. But how many of us are having that open conversation behind closed doors even?
Yeah.
Yep.
Amongst our friends that are looking at us like that fucking golden statue that's just radiating. That's the shit.
Yeah.
Because we still not.
Well, yeah, and that praise will do something to you as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? So being a director of music videos and being a director of commercials is two different things. You might bank the fuck out on commercials and starve doing music videos. But music videos got your name on it.
Yeah.
You're kind of out
It's
there a
glossy.
little bit.
Yeah.
You get to go out there. You got celebrity friends now. Things are different, right? But then you got to kind of ask yourself, right? Am I doing this am I working hard to feed myself and my family? Or am I working hard to feed my enormous fucking ego? Right? What am I trying to feed right now? Why am I working so hard? Is it because I want to look fucking dope? Because there's been a lot of times where I do it because I want to look fucking dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want people to accept me. I want people to love me. I want people to want to be me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is
For real.
Which is, that's some
Very
vain
real.
psychotic shit. And
Absolutely.
that goes on
Very
all
real.
fucking day long.
Absolutely. But
And a lot of people feel it, and it's very
real.
real, right? So, like, I'm lucky and blessed to be at a point right now where failure is not screaming back at me anymore. Years have passed, right? I'm not feeding my ego as much anymore, right? But it takes you looking in the mirror and asking those questions. And I'll be honest, you know how many fucking days go by that just fly by, days and weeks and months, where I don't even fucking think about those things? I don't even ask the question, and I don't think. I just get up, I get out the house, I grind my ass off, I go to sleep at night, I watch some fucking Netflix, I get up, I do, and then that's it. And it's just a fucking lather, rinse, repeat of that fucking shit.
Yep.
And it's not until I settle down and I'm like, whoa. And you know what sucks is that sometimes falling on your ass is the thing that makes you settle down. And that's rough. You know
True
what I'm
shit.
saying? So,
That's facts.
that's that's just the real.
That's facts.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, which, I mean, I've had that moment too. You know what I mean? I've had a rock bottom. So look, so just to go back into what we were just talking about, I am in no way promoting honesty in the music industry. Okay, let's just make that super fucking clear. I am in no way saying that you should go tell people that you're broke if you're broke.
Word.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
That's not-
You know why? Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Because the society that we live in and the industry that this is,
And the culture that it is
the
also.
culture that we are curating together.
It's rags to riches,
right?
baby.
It is rags to riches. And the thing is that nobody wants to be a brown and broke motherfucker. It's dead God's honest truth.
Absolutely.
Right? You know why? Because if you're broke, you probably need something from me. And I'm so fucking selfish that I don't want to give you anything.
Yeah.
And that's the general consensus.
That's-
So
most
just
people-
FYI, if you're like
goddamn
entering and you're on your way in, I'm not saying, and I am a fucking hater of fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
I hate fake it till you make it. Because fake it till you make it is bullshitting your way into something.
Yeah.
And I'm all about kind of talking your way into something.
Yeah.
But with the expectations of you can actually deliver.
Yeah.
Right? And even if you're on the fence about it, that's okay because that's called a challenge.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, challenge yourself. Every video should be, or every job, or anything that you create, like the next one should be challenging, right? If you're making the same thing over and over again, nobody gives a flying fuck. So, yes, continue to challenge yourself. Put yourself in waters that are shaky and that you haven't swam in before. All that stuff.
Yeah.
But carry yourself in a way to where it does not appear that you really need anything. The minute you start screaming that is the minute everybody runs for the hills. And that's the truth around here.
It is.
That's what it is.
It really is.
And that's, I learned that before I moved to LA. Like, just fucking make friends, man.
For real.
Like, I think Shot Money told me your network determines your net worth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it
carries such a different level and weight when Shaw says that.
Yeah,
to you,
yeah.
though,
When Shaw says that, it's a whole.
Man, know this.
Yeah.
Your net worth.
Determines your net worth, homie.
But also, like you said, I mean, it was backed by practice too, which is like just a point I wanted to point out too. Is, you know, both you and Nushi, who have the gift of gab, right? There's so many people with natural talent, and you could ride off that for a very long fucking time. Yeah. And why I brought up earlier why it was a little dangerous, because with that natural talent comes a lot of fucking yes men, but those yes men aren't even fucking important, because the important people just say, yeah, he's got talent, but he's not there yet. So you surround yourself with like the people who like, oh, he's dope, but the real people who are making real decisions are the ones that, yeah, he's not there yet.
Yeah.
And the only way you get there is you match that talent with fucking practice. But people don't want to fucking practice because practicing sucks. It's boring. It's hard. It takes a long fucking time. It's not overnight, and you have to do it all the fucking time, and you can't stop. It's like I relate it to musicians. I relate it to singers. Singers who think they don't need to get vocal lessons. You know, I'm good. I'm signed. Fuck you.
No, not the time to kick your feet up.
Yeah.
Not the time.
You know, going to what you said though, it's like the only way to deliver is you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
And as much natural talent as you think you have, as many fucking views on YouTube you think you have, or friends, or fucking fake ass followers, like if you're not putting in the work, the people that actually matter, that very small group of people, don't give a fuck about you unless you're putting in that work. And that's just the very real truth in this music industry. And that circle is very tiny, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes men are a deadly parasite.
Yeah, man. It's confusing.
It is confusing. And you know what? It ends up hurting. You end up hurting the people that you're trying to be close to. You know, I mean, I've worked with fucking artists that have those yes men around them. And it's just fucking ridiculous, man. Like, you're hurting them. Like, I you know, my friendship with and working relationship with CeeLo is, you know, to a point where like I hope that I know that he respects me because I'm not a yes man, right? Because he'll call me out on my shit like he did earlier, and I'll not necessarily, I'll call him out on his shit too, on a friend level, but also to the point where he knows so much that and he doesn't keep any yes men around him. So let me just say that as well. But that's also why he doesn't keep much of a circle. He doesn't travel with a big fucking entourage, because he doesn't need that to gas his head up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But now it's to the point where he'll send me a beat, just a plain old beat, and be like, "What do you think about this? Where do you think we could go with this?" You know what I mean? And 100%. And then like, I have a catalog of music that's not released.
Yeah.
Because we just want to riff ideas back and forth and talk a little bit. And like, that's because he knows I'm going to give him some truth. He wants to know genuinely what someone thinks about it, as most artists do at some point. Well, but probably in the beginning, they don't want to know.
Hell no. And
going back to your you better not tell them you don't like it.
No, fuck.
You know what I mean? In the beginning, until they're a seasoned artist, you look at the people that are veterans in the music industry. Yeah. Those are the people that are humble.
Yeah.
The people that have been in it long enough, if they have lasted and they have stood the test of time in music, they are a good person and they are humble. Period.
Yeah.
Like,
because they have been humbled.
The biggest egos I've ever worked with are brand new artists that've never had a video before.
Always.
Really? Yeah.
It's gotta be.
You got the song buzzing on the radio, shit's just starting to pop, and that's nothing against them.
Oh, it's the first time you're feeling all this stuff. Man. It's all new.
Feel yourself.
Yeah.
But I prefer not to work with that. You know what I mean? Personally. But on the flip side, I also like being a person that's able to kind of sculpt and create the first visual and presentation of an artist.
Sure.
And build their image. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's also really dope. But a lot of people don't want to hear them, you know, hear the truth, or hear if something's not great, or hear if something could be better. You know what I mean? When you get an artist that has an engineer that will, you know what I mean? And they sit there and they ask like, what do you think about that? Then that's fucking amazing that they care what someone else thinks about it.
Yeah.
Truly, genuinely wants to know.
Absolutely.
Can I make this better?
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you're saying, like you're, advocating for, or you're not advocating for honesty, but in these moments, this is where these are the moments you should be honest with the people that actually fucking matter, the ones that you want to win.
Yeah.
Because
I
we
think,
need more people.
To
like
be honest,
that
though, bro, I think especially cats within the circle or the team should be honest.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
The core group should be honest. And to that point, sometimes the person asking for an opinion, that ear can't tell you what it is, right? And that honesty is actually a lot better than just being yeah. Because look, imagine somebody genuinely asking you, you genuinely ask me, yo, what do you think of that? You like that? And you see me it's blatantly obvious. I'm just dumbfounded, but I'm like, yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. You like it, right? Of course.
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, I knew it. Fuck yeah. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying?
I got one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's a divide, but what I want to know is this.
The summer is mine.
The internet is not a game.
The internet is not a game.
How do you balance that, though? Because you're talking about...
Honestly, the most difficult thing is being in the room with those yes men. I'm not a yes man. You know what I'm saying? Especially now. Now I just don't give a fuck about anything or anyone. To a point. You know what I'm saying? To where it comes out naturally and people appreciate the things that I'm saying. Or, if I don't want to work on something, it's not just because I don't want to work on it. I fucking love making music videos and I fucking damn sure love money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if I'm not going to bring you the best piece of work or the best of me because I don't connect with the record, it doesn't mean it's a bad record. It's probably going to be a fucking hit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't think Big Sean was going to do shit. You know what I'm saying?
Wild.
You know what I mean?
Wild.
But so I'm not the fucking, the judge on anything. But being able to step away from something, I've allowed amazing things to happen by backing off of shit. Because somebody else might do a way better job than I would have done because I didn't have it for that.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That's important too to recognize.
Here's a phenomenal yes man story. So I got a call. I got a call one day. You know what was funny? I got the call right when I was like, I'm out of music videos. I'm not doing them no more. Literally a fucking hour later, I get a call. It's like, yo, man, I need you to come to the studio and sit down with Young Thug. We want you to do all the videos off Jeffrey. I was like, yo. I'm like, okay. Fuck it, because that's still part of me. I still jump. I still have that FOMO with shit. You know what I mean? I just can't let go. I don't want somebody else to do it. I want to do it. I want to get in there. So I go and I sit down with him, and we start talking about these videos. And I speak Atlanta, but I have to decipher some of this shit. So. So I request for real. So I request a transcript in audio form. So we are at the studio. So we have the session recorded of he and I speaking.
Yeah.
And he goes off on a tangent about Harambe and what he wants the video to be for Harambe. And it's fucking impossible.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Normally I'm the guy that's anything's possible.
Yeah.
But this is impossible. Yeah. So he wants to get...
He's like Steven Spielberg.
He wants to be in a cage with gorillas naked, and he wants to fight and wrestle a gorilla. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we can do compositing where we could shoot you in the cage, and then we could shoot a gorilla and kind of composite it to be multiple gorillas, and we could do a whole thing. We could just do a CG gorilla like they did in The Revenant with the bear.
Yeah.
Or we could do the gorilla suit thing, but I'm not really into that. I whatever. We'll figure something out. And he was like, no, it's got to be a real gorillas, 10 of them. And I was like, okay, listen. There's probably I don't know, I'm not a fucking zoologist, but there's probably 15 gorillas in the whole country. Like maybe. Spread across.
I'm dying right now.
Spread across the country, there's probably 15 gorillas in different zoos that are in captivity, right?
Yeah.
So what you want to bring them all and put them in a cage together and assume that they are not all going to A, kill you, but B, kill each other?
100%.
That is what happens.
Yes.
You can't do that. You can't put them all together like that. And
Wait, this is when the manager hears that and is like, mm-mm.
And this is when the manager hears that, and he's like, of course we could do that. John Colombo could do anything. And that was the yes man moment.
He put the thought into the air. Like, look,
Of course you could do it. Doesn't matter. We could do it. Of course we could do it. John Colombo could do it. He could do anything. And I said, motherfucker.
He gave you the Jerry Weintraub, bro.
Yeah, he fucking, and I was like, God damn it, dude. That's not what it is. You can't fucking... First of all, it's going to be like rapper Young Thug mauled and killed naked by gorilla
In a cage.
You know what I mean?
Who let him do this?
Yeah.
You know, that shit is fucking ridiculous. And this is like lightweight payback right now, because normally I would never air out an artist's idea, especially for a video that didn't come out. Like, that he might be shooting Harambe tomorrow, for all I know, and I just fucked everything up. But this is a little bit of payback. Because if you saw the Wyclef Jean video, which, you know, was majorly successful, that was also part of the audio transcribe that happened at the studio that day. And our ideas of riffing back and forth were sent to another director.
Wow.
Because he didn't have time to meet with that director. So they sent him the audio version of what they wanted the video to be, which was our conversation.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And now, just mind you this, that's not really like the true grime of it, because they've kind of like forced us into shooting, not forced, but they've really wanted to shoot a video for Digits tomorrow. So I pushed back a trip I was taking and we shot a video for Digits the next day, like 12 hours later. I assembled a fucking video and we shot it, and then I took my trip. And then when I got there, my fucking bank account was wiped out because the checks that I wrote didn't bounce. They were canceled.
What?
Wow.
And that's not Young Thug. I'm sure to this day he has no fucking idea that happened. But management saw it fit to fucking, you know, move some money from my check into my savings. And I got fucking jerked for 36 hours. I wrote out a bunch of fucking checks. Like, I did all this shit.
God.
And then, boom, I get fucking smashed like that. So then I was like, fuck you. I'm not doing any more fucking videos.
Is this like, this happens?
This happens. Everyone's like, get a contract and da-da-da. Like,
fuck all
dude,
that.
of the 400 music videos that I've done, I probably have contracts on 20 of them. You know what I mean? Like that, and that's my fault. Like, I took a risk.
Sure.
And I trusted someone by saying, I'll do it tomorrow, instead of waiting 4 days for the check to clear. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, we got to do it tomorrow. Let's do it. Whatever. Because I get dirty.
Yeah.
And I'm down, right? And I want to show you that I'm down.
Yeah.
So let's get it.
Yeah.
You know? And then I got fucked over on it. Now, granted, it took like 36 hours for money to come back into my account, but it bummed me out for a little bit, and it pissed me off enough to where I was like, fuck this. I don't want to do any more work for the camp. Right? And then the fucking video comes out, and I got people hitting me up left and right. No one knows that, you know, that was an idea that we talked about together, but they know because my fucking voice is in it. So when you hear juxtaposition and the conversation going on back and forth, I'm the only other voice you hear in the song other than Young Thug, right? And that's intellectual property like a motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
Right? So the powers that be, like, I had video commissioners hitting me up like, yo, that was you, right? And I was like, yep. And so then, now granted, that video was amazing.
Yeah.
And
right?
the Wyclef video.
Yeah. It was
I mean,
so good.
And that's the one that he put together and did the whole, like,
Right.
Yeah.
So a guy named Ryan Stack did the video, and I don't know him. I know a lot of directors, and I don't know him, right?
Okay.
It's fucking awesome.
And he did that video, and my response to that was I wrote him publicly on Twitter, and I said, DM me for my voiceover rate.
Seriously though. Seriously though.
and he was baffled.
Yo.
And I said, so we got to talking publicly, and he realized that he thought that like they sent him that like it was a conversation between Young Thug and somebody in their camp.
Yeah,
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And it wasn't. It was another director. And that is like a major no-no.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like a lawsuit and a half for 300 Entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? But I took it on the chin because I love the video so much. If the video sucked and that happened, I would have threw a fucking fit.
Yeah.
Right? But the video was epic.
Yeah.
And it shit on the industry. And it just opened the eyes of people to the whole fucking situation. And it was dope. And like coming off of what I just came off of with them, it was just like the illest payback. I loved it, Even though they approved it and whatever, like just so everybody knows, that was real. Like that really happened. That was not a stunt to create that video. That director really fucking went through that. And that is a fucking nightmare. Like I've had people not show up.
It's
before,
crazy they approved it.
It's crazy they approved it, and that Young Thug was enough of it. Like people were like, "You're a genius,"
That's interesting,
and stuff like that. Now, granted, that wasn't his idea.
Yeah.
But he is a visionary for allowing that to go out and seeing that as something that would be viral,
100%.
seeing that as something that would make noise.
See, that's the only reason I thought it was planned because I was
they
like,
let it come out.
I was like,
And it was
yeah,
on
they
their
let it come
fucking
out.
Vivo.
Exactly. I was like, there's got to be there's an approval process.
Yes.
So I was like, man, I don't know.
And that dude went through hell to get that passed, right? So what's crazy is that, and that dude, so then he started shouting me out in like all the interviews that followed on Vice and Complex and whatever. I started doing interviews. I did an interview with Complex and this and that. I was like, this is the most press I ever got of a video I didn't do.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, but that this all came from the Yes Man conversation. But like like this, the fuckery goes on, man. Like,
Absolutely.
it goes on.
I'm gonna ask you this: how is it dealing with that though? Because has it ever reached a point where you're like, bro, like, is this gonna stop? Or because I know this, you have look, from what I can fathom and ascertain is a lot of the people that you work with, you have relationships beyond this business.
True.
Right? And your ability to like, as you're growing in your craft, to also want to like be compelled by a certain feeling to work with somebody sonically and just as a person, right? Because you're working with them. How is it dealing with those things? And did it ever come a point where you're like, okay, I need to, no, this isn't happening anymore? Because you play
definitely, man. I mean, look, you get fucking fed up with shit, and I've had to chase money and deal with bullshit, and that is definitely part of this. You know what I mean? And like I said, the thick skin thing, you got to kind of be able to deal with it, or you got to be a fucking boss about it. And I've had to do both, and there was, for the majority of my career, I was never bitter, and I couldn't understand people that were bitter.
Yeah.
Like, there were dudes that I passed by in my first 2 years that had been at it for fucking 10 years that never reached the artist and the caliber of shit that I was able to touch.
Yeah.
And that, I was like, how can that be, and why? And I could smell the bitter on them. You know what I mean? I was like, that'll never be me, And then after years of this shit, the bitter was starting to settle in. After like the chasing the money and the fucking, now I got the big agent and now I got the, I'm on the big company and, all this shit is there and everything's in place and I'm still dealing with bullshit. And it's like, when does that stop, right? And so then you start to get fed up a little bit. You kind of don't want to deal with certain shit as much, whatever. And then I put myself in some like risky positions, and I had two things fall apart on me at the same time, just over a year ago. And I was, drinking and partying a lot, and I was out every fucking night, and every day I was waking up resenting these people. Like poison in my veins every morning with the fuck you emails and all the shit. And, I did a job for an artist that he was the first like signed artist I'd ever worked with. So in my mind, he gave me a shot.
Yeah.
Right. And so I had this fucking flawed loyalty to give back to this person when they needed me. I rose far above him. Right. And then he came to me like, yo, Colombo, we need to do the video. I got this deal with Warner on the table, blah, blah, blah. He starts showing me contracts and things and whatever. And the deal is like, if he shot the video for the first single himself, his deal was going to be way better. But if he came in with nothing and they had to do full development, they weren't giving him as much points on the back end and this and that. Sure. And I really felt for him. And so I signed I don't know, some sort of fucking deal memo thing or whatever. For him to fucking pay me within 30 days. And I net 30'd everybody on my team, which I've never done, right? But that's like on the legal side of the music industry, like everybody can get net 30'd, right? And the labels love to do it. Everybody loves to like pay you later, right? I never do that to my guys.
Word.
And on this thing, since I had never done it really in years to my guys, I was just like, well, fuck it. I can do it this one time, and I can really help this dude out. Sure. Right? And the promise was that, the deal was going to get signed, and he was going to give me back all this money, and everything was going to be cool. And he ghosted. And actually, Game was supposed to be, he was the featured artist, and Game didn't show up to the set. And because this dude didn't have him lined up proper. Yeah, I got you, B, and all that shit. It's not Game's fault.
Yeah.
Right? And then he doesn't show up. And now we don't have a full video. And now what you wanted to bring to the label is worthless. So now you don't get your deal and you don't get your money and you can't pay me back. Even though you signed this fucking agreement. Right? And you had your lawyer send over something. Which I can't get blood from a stone, right? So what the fuck am I going to do? Go waste money and try and fucking put money? I don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
But it fucked me over because it was at the end of fourth quarter, and that was supposed to be the money that I socked away for, that transition between end of fourth and beginning of first.
Yeah.
And which is like a fucking graveyard.
Yeah.
Right? So now I don't have money to deal with that. And now my crew doesn't want to work with me because I owe them fucking money, right?
Oh, shit.
And so now I'm starting to look bad. And I probably didn't look that bad, but I felt like I looked real bad, And at the very same time, I had this, the Facebook monetizing that everyone was doing with all the stupid shit where you see those ads. It's like 2,000-year-old mummy. Whoa, that's dope. Like 2 Chainz don't give a fuck about that. You know what I mean? 2 Chainz didn't look at that mummy. Fucking ad, you know what I mean? It's all clickbait bullshit. And
so clickbait.
I was, dabbling in that. And so I had, signed one of my artist friends to that. And, we were getting little checks off of it or whatever. And then those guys ghosted out with the last of the money. And that was also money that was counted on. So now I had like 2 of these things like pummel me at the same time. And it fucking hurt. And now I'm still like drinking my sorrows away and waking up every day miserable and angry. And, work is still coming in here and there and things are doing, but I'm also.
It's toxic.
It's toxic, right? So now I'm just like, I'm living in this fucking space where I'm angry every fucking day. And now I'm like getting to a point where I'm having suicidal thoughts.
Oh my
and
God.
I'm starting to fucking, and I won't say I was suicidal.
No,
right?
no,
but when you're thinking about it like 5 times a day and how you would do it, and then you put a towel over your head because you don't want to make a big mess because you're a thoughtful guy. You know what I mean? Like that, when you start thinking like that,
was it because
there's a
like,
problem.
You were feeling like just trapped in this zone? Or what was that?
Yeah, definitely, man. And I
like, was it like financial? Was it?
It was a little bit of financial. I'm like, and then it was just, pressure that I put on myself, right? And I don't want to be got by anybody, right? I don't want you to, I feel like you got me, and they're like my pride. Oh, my pride. And where's my ego when I need it?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Where is my ego when I need it? To hold me up and tell me how fucking dope I am.
Wow.
It wasn't there, right? It wasn't there. So shit starts feeling funky for me. And then what ended up happening is I met somebody who's also in the industry who was a fucking party animal and like fell from grace and then started to climb back up, and we spoke or whatever, and he was sober. And I was like, it was kind of like a shining light for me. And I was like, all right, so if going out partying every night isn't helping me, then it's probably hurting me. Right? Now, I was allergic to the word sobriety. Let me just tell you that. Right? But I went through that. And that was fucking rough because I've drank every day for the past fucking 17 years. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Right? So
what was it for? Like, were you home? Like, naturally you're drowning all the noise, right? That's what all that shit is.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, there's a moderation level where you're like, all right, cool, like, go out, do a little something, like, drink the night away, smoke, toke, whatever. But then there's those moments where, like, those personalities, like, you start to see, like, it's getting way deeper than that. And you always waking up with an edge on. But then your mind is like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that point.
Right. So I'm not seeking clarity at all.
You're looking at a mirror that's black.
Foggy as fuck.
Ooh.
So, though getting sober was difficult.
Yeah.
It
what was it for you that wanted you to get so, like, because look, like, you saw that,
right? So I did that look in the mirror moment.
You saw that, but like, this is the thing, like, we all hear of like sobriety,
and that sounds like a dirty word.
No,
you know, it sounds like a terrible word.
Shout out to Gucci coming back just like whapping on cats, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Went from fucking like La Flame, just belly blanco, to the mugshot photo,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, everybody needs that point, and some of us aren't lucky enough to get it.
Right.
But take us through that, because like bro, like, that was lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
As a young kid, like, bro, like,
lifestyle.
Look, understand this. As a young kid, you're not creating that like video game character. With the wife beater, the motherfucking straight Ducati
with the gun,
and the fucking gun in the holster.
Right.
But that also fed, like, because the thing is this, it's like, let's not get it twisted. Sometimes Colombo was the one that Cassidy will look at and be like, hold the fuck up, be like,
100%.
This man's is my G.
100%.
And sometimes artists look at a cat and be like, yo, this dude's normal because, like, he's able to wow with me.
Right.
And you're not like, but I got to be up tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Right.
Got to call my, you're like, like, when you show up at 7.
Right.
And you gave yourself the wipe up and all that, and like, you back at it, you turn into the director, but like, they remember you from last night. They remember you from the 3 chickies y'all took back and like was just wilding out, and then like, he's late as shit, but like, Colombo's here, that's my man's. Right?
Well, I tell you what it was. There was like a kind of a moment there. Like, I was already kind of feeling, I felt like shit every day, right? And I wasn't doing anything to help myself, like mentally or spiritually or anything.
Was it ever told to you from the outside?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, maybe my girl gave me the slow down look, you know? But no, and I functioned. Like, there was never a period of time where it was like, you know, I didn't like get drunk and beat my wife up and crash my fucking car up.
No.
None of that shit. You know what I mean? This wasn't a court mandated thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it was an escape at this point.
Yeah, it was an escape. But here's the thing: it did come from there was kind of a moment. So on like the last night of it, I'm out all fucking night, and then I get home and I totally forgot that I had to meet with CeeLo to shoot a video game promo for. I was creative director for a game that we did together, and I was like, oh fuck, and I felt like dog shit, and I just, you know, got it together, and I went over there, and when I met him, he was like, what the fuck, you look like shit, and I was like, no, I'm good, man, let's shoot, and he was like, we're not shooting anything, we're gonna go get food.
Wow.
And that's what we did. We went and got food, and then afterwards, I was just like, I actually think I just fucked up for the first time.
With somebody that you're very close to also.
Someone I'm very close to, and someone that I very much look up to, right? Someone who is an inspiration to me, who's a talent and a beast like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, 5-time Grammy winner.
Yeah.
And an amazing soul and a fucking creator.
On some for a moment shit.
who just looked at me and saw that I was fucked up and decided to take me to get food instead of doing work together.
Which is a testament to y'all's relationship.
Right.
But at the same time, on some like in the moment shit, imagine if that moment didn't happen with CeeLo. Imagine if it was just some other guy during this downward spot. Like shout out to the world for this shit, right? But like, imagine if it was just some other guy that looked at you like and was like, well, all right, cool. Like, let's just keep shooting. And that path would have just been rolling. Like that ball literally would have just been rolling down the block.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep. So that's where it started for me. And the minute I stopped resenting everyone every morning, the minute I stopped thinking about just me, like the world turned around. Everything got magical so fast.
I love that.
Like when y'all went to get food, like was that talk like what was that?
No, nothing was said.
It was just like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I mean he probably didn't want to shoot. He was just probably tired too. But he definitely saw in me that I looked like dog shit and was just like,
okay. But for you know what's crazy is that everything along this storyline, I go back to you from a very early age and young stage in your path, and also knowing from where you came from, being at least open enough to understand that you have to be able to see yourself and smile. Mm-hmm. And you have to be like, even for somebody that parties that hard, like there's a lot of people that party really hard that never will take that look. But there's a thing that separates this story in like every instance in your path. Like I look back on this, like from that perspective of like, bro, like this is somebody that through all of the shit is actually strong enough to look at themselves, and whether it's catastrophic or fucking like ceremonious, I had to find like another C really quick. You know what I mean? Can look at themselves and say, be honest.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's hard.
And, yeah. It's really hard.
Yeah.
But like, it's a blessing, bro.
Yeah. So life turned around for me pretty quick.
Okay.
And I got back to loving things again. And
was it hard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How like, I want to go into like these, like the little, like,
it was hard because I thought that I'm not going to be that cool, fun guy anymore. I'm not going to be able to write creatively anymore. Right? Because as a director, 90% of your job is writing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And getting your ideas out. And I thought, man, I'm not going to be creative anymore. And I'm not going to be that fun guy anymore. And all that shit. And it's like, I am a little bit more reserved now I just don't have to do everything.
Sure.
You don't have to do everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has allowed me to take a stance on things, learn the word no, right? Which is a new word for me. So I learned how to say no. I've learned to appreciate the things around me a bit more. But I'm still a fucking savage. I am still an animal. I am still the same guy that when I'm not like, oh, cool, Kanye West is on the plane with me. I'm like, oh, sick, Kanye West is trapped in a fucking tube with me for 5 hours. He's fucked. You know what I mean? Like that's I'm still that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm still a fucking animal. And when it comes down to like that right there, it's like, okay, cool. And then so I realized pretty quickly that wasn't lost, right?
Did that surprise you?
It relieved me. You know, it relieved me because that was a big worry for me. You know, like, oh, you know, how can I do this? Like, I live this fucking lifestyle. I have all these celebrity friends, and I'm out. I'm at mansion parties, and I'm doing this. Like, how could I ever not be partying? You know what I mean? like I'm in this till I'm dead. You know what I'm
almost
saying?
like a part of your job.
Yeah, definitely. But then you start to realize that the people that care about you or people that are respectful don't give a fuck. Yeah. And they're super with it. And then it also helped that, you know, I start meeting more and more like people who are actually sober. I hate that we're talking about this so much because I'm like, I feel like I'm trying to champion sobriety.
No, but
I'm not. Have fun.
No.
Do your thing. You know what I'm saying?
Off
But
rip.
if you reach a point where you want to stop,
rip.
stop.
No, but that's the beauty
You know
of this
what I mean?
shit. Like, cause look, like it's not even preachy, bruh. Like
At all.
When I started meeting my heroes and they weren't getting fucked up anymore, then I started being like, oh, okay. Well,
and look, some of them are, and there's a very few that can keep a balance, and then there's others that drown in it, right? But like, it's not even on some like kids go through your stage and then be sober.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
No.
But the beauty is, bro, we get attached to a lifestyle.
Yeah,
we get attached to how we're perceived. Because you were in your zone, but you were also like, bruh, I'm John Colombo, and I'm wilding with you. You pull
It's the
this
character,
out.
the character you created.
You pull this out. I'm not saying no, like, let's go. And I'm one of the few that you come to with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, ooh, experiment this, Or, ooh, me and him that one time when we did la 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 la, cool, right? But just as you said, those same people, even the ones that whether know or love you, for you, are going to be like, bruh, like, our relationship wasn't based on that anyways.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
probably
cool.
don't want to see you dead.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I mean?
And like, oh shit, you were going through that. Like, come here.
Right.
Like,
right.
Whoa, how are you now? Let's go.
Right. So now I have a razor fucking sharp focus.
I
right?
love you, dog. Like,
I have
can I tell you something?
sniper accuracy, right? And the ability to say no, and the ability to stop giving a fuck. And the minute I stopped giving a fuck, that's when everything changed. Because if you notice, any artist that's like, oh, I don't listen to other music because I just want to make the music I make, or I want to make the art that I want to make. You know what? I always look at that. I'm like, all right, asshole. But at the end of the day, that shit is like mad respectable. Because like, if you can get to that point where you just do shit that you want to do and fuck everyone else, you are living the life, kid.
Off rip.
Because
but you got to reach.
It takes time to get there.
Like, you got to reach.
Yeah, you definitely got to reach that. And that's the stuff that's why I love working with CeeLo so much. Like, we work very, very closely. He and I equally kind of don't give a fuck. You know, obviously we want things to work and be successful.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we sit here and sculpt crazy shit, and it's just like, man, let's just do it. And who cares? Like, if it's not received well at first, they'll get it at some point.
Yeah.
Or fuck everyone else, and the people that are supposed to get it will get it, and we're making it for them.
It's got to be a powerful feeling too, just like the ability to say no and do thing. It's like
growing up.
Yeah, it's just it's
growing up, man.
Yeah,
growing up, you know. And now I'm like, a percent of me is in music, like a portion of me is music video. And it's just the stuff that I love, and it's the CeeLo stuff, and it's the artists that make music that I really want to be a part of and work with. And it's not my only source of income anymore. You know, I'm tiptoeing into television, and I'm working as a director for a brand and a company that, you know, we create content about sneakers, and it's like, how ill is that? Like, I'm sitting here making culture fucking pieces, you know, about, you know, streetwear. And it's like, I come from this land of music, film, and fashion. And now I get to mash all that together. And I'm having a fucking ball with it. You know what I mean? And it's like, that wouldn't have happened if I was just complete tunnel vision and not stopping to smell the roses and see the things around me.
You're one of the very few that, like, and this is just from me hearing it, and not necessarily say that, like, I have this breadth of directors that, like, we've had this convo with, and, like, we got there, and, like, shout out to you. But it's crazy how aspirational cats are, right? And your story for that like 12 to 13 years in your growth in that, naturally now you're at a point where it's like there's more, and I want to get to that. But you're one of the very few that like embraced the music video culture, right? Being one of the pioneers, sons of the pioneers in that, and being able to reap of the spoils, you feel me? And it's a testament to you, dog, because like that's the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you,
and
bro.
like you've experienced so much and have gone through so much and have become so much more, right? And it's a beautiful thing because like I feel like even anybody, whatever path they on, like these are all cycles that we go through, fam. Some may not get to like, let's go sobriety. Some may not need to. Some may want
Right.
to. They don't. But look, to each their own on that path.
Sure.
But bless the laser focus of your being now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What's Colombo now want to make his mark on? Because it's crazy we going through all this,
Yeah.
right? And you still a young gunner in this game, bro.
Yeah.
Let's be really, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? But the beauty is you have the experience and the mentality of somebody that knows that he's going to be here for a very long time, right? And personally, I just want to commend you on, you know what's crazy? I just want to commend you on being able to take what life gives you and take what you want from life with such courage. You know what I mean?
Thank you,
Like,
man.
I can't say dexterity and like all this stuff. Like with courage. Yeah. You feel me? Because it takes that and you own that. You know what I'm saying? Looking at Colombo now and dabbling in TV and this and that, it's like so many cats get in early and it's like, yeah, music videos, I want to start and then hop on to my feature.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right. You were a cat that's through a decade plus, right? Granted, you've done a lot of really dope shit, but like, and have created in different fucking channels and this, that, and the other. But it's like music videos, bread and butter, and it's like, bro, like you were part of that. You were part of this culture. Colombo now, naturally, you're gonna be doing them with the cats that you fuck with, but if you were to like just vocalize your arc, where would you want to go? And what are the worlds that you want to explore?
Television is very exciting for me right now. And I do want to go to the feature lane.
Yeah.
I like short form media. So, and I'm not like all about preaching like, you know, bite-sized content and how everyone has an attention span of a fucking gnat and
Sure.
all that.
Let's put an infographic up there to support this claim.
Right, exactly. But I like the movement into television right now. So I have some things working in that arena right now, which is great. I had a feature on my plate a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and it was brought to me like, yo, people come to LA and they're here for like 10 fucking years now. I want to make my movie and this and that. And then they write something and they put their fucking heart in it and they shop it around for a fucking decade. And then maybe it gets made or maybe it doesn't. And like, here I am stepping in shit where I get a phone call like, hey, listen, we just absorbed this company and we want you to be the first director. Here's the budget. Can you get us a film made? Yeah, and you know, you direct it and we'll pay your director guild's fee. And I'm like, and you have points on the back end, and you get paid to do it. And, just do something, you know. Just bring us whatever you like.
Yeah, just do you, baby.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay.
For real.
And then I got together with a friend of mine who had an idea that I felt like we could get done for that budget. And I reached out to him and I was like, yo, do you want to kind of like do this together and whatever? And so he, you know, we got a writer and, you know, she worked on the thing and it just kept getting further and further and further away from the original concept. And I hated it by the end of it.
Oh, wow.
And then I just decided not to do it. at all, and I let the thing go. Which that's that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
To to like have enough respect for the project, and also like maybe there's part
that's
of
a story that'll never be told, bro.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Well, it was told. It was a movie called Don't Breathe. It was dope.
Well, it was told.
Respect.
And it was like it was none of the same people. It was not like our script or anything. It's not like it got taken out and went and somebody else made it. It's just that movie came out and it was quite similar to the movie that we were writing.
Okay.
And we were just like, well, yeah, shit, they fucking killed that. Well, I think that was better than our movie, so
Respect.
Word. So
Word.
But I do plan to get back to that at some point, and I have some things that I feel would be a better fit for a debut film for me.
Lit.
But I'm starting to get to that place where I'm kind of ready for that.
Incredible.
So this is all, it's all building blocks, man. Like like I said, I was still in college. Like, yeah, well, let's shoot a feature.
Yeah.
And like really, all I cared about was the catering.
I feel you.
My stepdad is he's an amazing chef and caterer, and we would have like these like bullshit meetings or like silly little shoots and things, and he would come and bring like a spread of like stuffed shells and all this shit, and it would just be amazing. And then that ended up being the driving force for why we wanted to continue to do the movie.
I love
Done.
it. I love it.
That's amazing.
Shout out to your
love
step pops too.
Just the illest charcuterie.
I want to kind of culminate this on this, and this is two parts. If there was one thing, knowing that you know now, if you were able to write a postcard to young Colombo at a time whenever you felt was pivotal on this path, right? And it could just shed light and just speak from the experience of having gone through it, what would you say, right? And if there's anything that you can, because the game changes, right? And if there's anything that you can impart on the young directors in the game now, from having been through the ebbs and flows of the culture in and of itself, what would that be? You know what I mean?
The letter to me is do everything exactly the same.
I love you for that.
Don't change a thing would be the
I
note.
fucking love you for
Don't
that.
change a thing.
I'm bear hugging you after this podcast. By the way.
The letter to everyone else is keep going. You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Done. Mama, we made